Who's ready to rock? Okay, let's start. All right. Oh, getting ahead of myself. Welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Shout out real quick, as always, to the replay gang. I am so sorry that you missed this party. We're having a blast. It didn't even happen yet, and I know it's going to be a great time. And you missed it. So even though you're going to enjoy the replay, make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever the hell I feel like it. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you are always here, never miss a party. And how are you guys doing? Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of the stream. That's right. As always, our good friends, MySickShirt.com. All the shirts that you could ever dream of, including the only place to get your very own Indian Jesus merch. Boom, look at that. Only at MySickShirt.com. All right, so you saw the thumbnail. You were here on Wednesday. You know what we're doing. Part 2, baby. So if you weren't, then what we did was watch about the first hour and a half of Andrew Tate on the Valuetainment Podcast with Patrick Bet-David, just talking about the state of things. Obviously he's been banned from all social media and everything everywhere, and he was just talking about it. So, nothing grandiose in the opener. It is a 5-hour-long podcast. So I am not even promising that we're going to finish it tonight. Thinking there's going to be a part 3, but I really don't want to stretch this out over the weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. The more engaged you guys are, the more fun I'll have, and the more likely I'll want to keep going. So with that being said, let's see who we got and then dive right in. We got Revilement in the building. Why does everyone love talking about Andrew so much? Because he got banned for no reason. And you're next. So we want to figure out what exactly is going on and why are people getting banned like that? So great question to start us off. And I'm going to back this up a little bit. Just so we can, finish or come in with a little bit of where we left off. But then we're doing the damn thing. So yeah, let's fucking do it.
Video that gets 300 views, different say things for a video that gets 3 million. I respect that. Let's have a conversation. I'm not a loose cannon. I'm a logical actor. They could have done that. They were emotional. They martyred or chopped my head off. But that doesn't change anything. There's millions and millions and millions of young men who think
I was just talking yesterday about how he can theoretically be a martyr for the free speech movement, if you will. If, unlike everybody else who gets canceled, he can find a way to make these alternative pathways or alternative economies and alternative platforms, all that kind of stuff. If that becomes viable, then the act of getting canceled itself loses a lot of power. Rollins says, I don't like Tate, but I disagree with his ban. You are in the same camp as so very many people. That is exactly where I would say most people fall. Because, yeah, he's got some extreme views and he says them quite unabashedly. Love him or hate him. You're allowed to do that. But it's the people who are championing his ban. It's people who are championing the fact that he has been censored that are really, really missing the bigger picture. And hopefully we can help them figure it out.
But I think there are millions of young men out there who don't want to wear makeup, who don't want to put on a Pokemon suit and be like Logan Paul, who don't want to take transgender blocking drugs, who don't want to
So remember, he was talking about the difference between fans and viewers. Yesterday, he was talking about the difference between fans and viewers. And he's saying that he has fans. If he wanted to go on this platform, that platform, wherever, his fans will follow him. And he was saying specifically that Logan Paul has viewers, people who will watch what he puts out. But the second he goes away, he's out of their mind. It's sad that with all this cancel culture shit are the same people who preach about free speech. Not really. What are you talking about? That's the whole thing, is that where the left is not for free speech at all. I mean, they used to be. That used to be the party of free speech. That used to be the party of sticking the finger to the man, all that kind of stuff. It used to be 10 years ago, but not anymore.
Sells any kind of feminist ideas, who don't want to chop their dick off, who just want to grow up, go to the gym, get strong, be respected, make money, have people are on a sports car. There's millions of men who want that. And I speak to those men, and most men want that. And they think by chopping my head off, those men are going to want something else because they'll get rid of me and they'll put James Charles in front of them. Say, no, foundation reviews. It ain't going to work. They don't want foundation reviews. It's not what they want. And
again, we were talking about how you can get rid of the man, but the idea and the ideas that he's espoused don't go away. And it's almost you can bring it all the way to politics. There was putting aside the 11/9 stuff, why we were even in Iraq, the fact that we were going after Saddam Hussein. He was an evil dictator, but also there was no ISIS or Taliban or Al Qaeda when he was around. So what are we doing?
It's truly crazy. They think that's going to work in and of itself at all. You don't think it's going to work? I think I've proven that it's not going to work. What's actually the most upsetting is this. I find it extremely hypocritical. And of all the things in the world, my pet peeves, the things that annoy me most are hypocrites. I find it extremely hypocritical that Fiscal itself pretends it gives a shit about men's mental health. It will sit there and pretend it cares about all the men out there who are depressed, struggling, sad.
They don't give up.
I come along and tell them the only way I've ever found personally to be happy and contented, I can only talk my personal story, is to become a man of status, to become successful, to go through pain, to use my trauma, to use the bad things that happened to me, to galvanize myself against attacks from the Matrix, because I've just proven I can easily weather. When I talk about men's mental health, they delete me. I thought you gave a shit about men's mental health. I'm the most popular man on the planet, and 90% of my content is not about women. It's motivational and antidepressive. And you're going to sit here and delete me saying I'm bad for women. What about men? I thought you gave a shit. All of a sudden, you don't give a fuck anymore, right? Just delete him. Who cares? I had a man message me. A man emailed me saying he was going to kill himself. I get about 10,000 emails a week. I don't answer all of them, but I answer some of them. This guy, his email was so short that I believed it.
All right, I'm going to try to talk over when he says the word.
Subject was, I'm going to kill myself. The thing is, I know you won't reply. I'm going to kill myself. I don't know what.
Got him.
And I sat there and said, listen, my friend, I get a lot of emails. I don't know how serious you are. I want you to make me a promise. I'm going to guess that you're not in the best physical condition you could be in. I want you to make me a promise. You're going to get a 6-pack first. And send me a picture of you with a 6-pack. If you still feel like killing yourself after that, I don't know you. I can't tell you what. I want you.
So remember how, those of you who were here on Wednesday, how caught up indie film got on that notion. That is a positive story. That is a positive way to deal with a random person just sending you an email saying, hey, I'm going to end myself. That's it. saying that, well, that's hard to get a six-pack. Why don't you send him a workout plan? And like, you're missing the point, bro. You're missing the point. Maybe in context that won't come up, but if go back and listen to what he was saying about what IndieFilm was saying about this comment, because we were talking about it for a little while, and I was very surprised that he took that that position when he told the man, the boy, I don't know, to start working out, better his life, and what did he say? In 3 years, get down. In 3 years or 3 months or 6 months, whatever he said, sounds like a good message. But not good enough. Not good enough. I guess that's the message. Always, what do they say? That perfect is the enemy of good.
Six pack first. Email me back. We start going back and forth. I convinced him to get the gym. I said, get six packs. If you still feel like killing yourself, and I'm not telling you to kill yourself. I'm telling you that's what I would recommend. Start training. By the time he starts sending me physique updates, I'm in a better condition. He starts sending me huge emails of apology and thank you, saying you saved my life. I can't believe I was thinking of killing myself. I can't believe you changed. If that man would have emailed Logan Paul, would Logan Paul have given a fuck? Would have ignored the, I think he answers a single fucking email. He doesn't give a shit. All these fucking media figures, all these people who are good for the system, who are dancing on the devil, fucking sitting here talking about dangerous rhetoric and all the other bullshit. You think they fucking answer an email? They don't give a solitary fuck about the young men of the world. They would have left that man to die. And even if they would reply to him, what advice would they give? Don't take antidepressants, watch my YouTube. They have no value to give a guy because they've never had a life of actual genuine struggle. I'm out here genuinely saving lives, genuinely saying to men, the world you now live in is so competitive. If you're not a competitive male, you're going to be perma-depressed. You don't have a mental disease. You're just in a competitive environment and you are losing. You need to become a competitive person. There's no easy way. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. But if you get to the name, if you get there, it's a life worth living.
Ban him for that. Ban him. We cannot have the youth hearing that you need to be competitive in the world. As Ethan Klein would say, this is an evil hate group, an evil violent hate group, right?
That's what I'm saying. And then millions of young men are going, wow, he's showing that you can be born from nothing, single parent on a fucking council estate in the worst town in England, be stabbed, come from nothing, and survive and end up with a multi-millionaire. Maybe I can do it if I work hard and I'm diligent and I try hard. And I'm really giving hope to the world. And then they delete me. Then they put up a new thing about men's mental health, saying which pill they should take. And then they put James Charles on the algorithm. This shit's evil. It's genuinely criminal.
Not many people can put it all in order like that and just fire all the pieces that are not really directly connected, but are directly connected. Kudos there.
Nothing but a positive force for the world. And this is what I was talking earlier about the hero's arc, and the arc and the redemption, because I think that inside of human consciousness, people are very, very familiar with the idea of the arc of a villain turning into a hero. It's in the Bible. It's in every superhero movie. The guy starts off bad. He's crazy. He's too bad. We don't want him. He's a maverick. You can't control him, blah, blah, blah. Towards the end, like, where's Batman? Where's Batman at? And it's going to take a matter of time before people realize, you know what? Tate was actually
not able to read that name out loud or that comment. But thank you for hanging out.
A good force for the youth. Perhaps he's to create his message. Perhaps he needs to take his newfound fame on board and change the way he says certain things. Agreed. I'm not infallible as an individual. I'll just sit here and say I'm king.
I'm going to call you Guard. Guard says, with love from Ukraine. Welcome to the party. I'm your host, Lutch, a.k.a. TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. We are on part 2 watching Andrew Tate on the Valuetainment Podcast. Welcome.
Now must be deleted. It's disservice to all the men of the world. I know some pretty articles talking about men's mental health. They don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a shit about the 18-year-old boy out there who can't get a girlfriend who's genuinely lonely and the fucking sports star's fucking them all. I'm telling him what he has to do. Say, listen, bro, of course the sports star's fucking them all. He's a G. You ain't shit. If you were a chick, would you choose you?
No.
I fucking wouldn't. So whose fault is that? The best thing about being a man is you get to build your character from the ground up. You're not born with any value. You're born as a blank slate. I decided I wanted to be a big token kickboxing Bugatti driving fucking bad boy. I did it
Bugatti
for myself. You get to choose you want to be a musician and be sensitive and play guitar and get them that and be important that way. You get to choose you want to go get in the cage and kick the fuck out of somebody. You get to choose to be anything you want. You have to go and do it. It's going to be difficult. It's competitive. But that's the beauty of being a man, the blank slate. And I inspire men to look at themselves as a blank slate and go, you know what? I ain't shit now, but I can become anything I want. How could I possibly give up on myself? And then they delete. And then they say we care about men's mental health. They don't give a fuck. They're lying.
This is what they say that women are and men must become.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's because a man, you talk about, there's nothing worse than being born rich and then just being rich. The beauty is being fucking dirt poor and becoming rich. And all three of us sitting here have dealt through that. A man has to have tenacity and go through struggles and days where you're like, I can't fucking do this anymore. but still pop your head up the next day and like, all right, we go back, get back in the gym.
I say this all the time. I say the best things that ever happened to me are the worst things that ever happened. All the trauma and bullshit I've been through in my life are the best things that ever happened to me. Because as a man, if you've not had a difficult life, you cannot be good at being a man. Being a good man and being good at being a man, they're two slightly different things. But to be good at being a man, you need to be...
Woo! That was a good one. There's a difference between being a good man and being good at being a man. That's knowledge right there. That is knowledge. Valman said, welcome back, brother. Welcome back. So you missed this line. Let's have him say it.
I threw in my life are the best things that ever happened to me. Because as a man, if you've not had a difficult life, you cannot be good at being a man. Being a good man and being good at being a man, they're two slightly different things.
Being a good man and being good at being a man.
Good at being a man, you need to have been through so much shit that when the Matrix deletes your entire life from the internet and starts lying about you at mass, and people start doing protests wanting you fucking hung, and they're looking for your family members, and reporters start calling every ex-girlfriend you ever had, trying to convince them and bribe them to lie, to come out and say you're something you're not. When they're genuinely out to put you in jail, you can sit there and be focused and stoic enough to go, you know what? Okay, what's the chessboard? What's going to happen? Who's trying to shoot me right now? Nobody. Okay, so it's better than it was a couple years ago. Okay, so X, Y, Z, and plan through it, right? You're never going to be capable as a man if you've not had trauma. The best man ever had trauma. If you call a police officer, you need a brave police officer. He ain't going to be brave unless he's been through shit. Yeah. He's not going to be brave unless he's been through shit. But we also, as a society, sit and look at men and we want.
See, again, I was bringing up yesterday how their sound is all over the place. First, the co-host dude's mic was messing up. Now he sounds like he's in a tin can. I just want to let you guys know that is not on my end. We got nice, clean, crisp audio for you.
There's two kinds of society. The society, the true society, true women with the brain. They answer, I want a man who's strong, who's supportive, who's intelligent, who financially provides, etc. Then you're going to want a man who's been through some shit.
Yeah.
And a man who's internalized it and used it as a weapon. This is what I say. People email me their long lists of all the bad things that happen to them, and I reply, fantastic. You are so lucky. You have all the building blocks to become the exact kind of man you want to be. None of this shit happened to you. When something else bad happens to you later, you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Fantastic. He goes, no, but this, and you reply again with more excuses. Say, why are you making excuses? I just told you what happened to you is a good thing. You need to reframe your mind. Bad things happened to Batman. They killed his parents. You understand? That's why he's Batman. You've just told me you have the building blocks to become the most...
True, but does anybody want to actually be Batman? Like, for real? I mean, maybe you want Bruce Wayne's money, but do you really want to have to be Batman? It would definitely be cool to be Batman. That comes with a lot of baggage.
You might become top G when I retire. Fantastic.
Maybe I missed the point on that one.
What are you complaining about? He goes, what do I do? I said, you need to work. Take all that trauma. If you're truly heartbroken, my friend, and we've all been there as men, you're truly heartbroken, you can't sleep. That means you're going to get in fantastic shape. You better hit the gym. You have nothing else to do. Stop watching YouTube. Stop emailing me. I want pictures of you in the gym. Get to fucking work. Heartbreak's a fantastic motivator, as is depression, as is sadness. Great. Look at what's pissing you off and make sure it never happens again. If you were jacked and rich as fuck, you probably wouldn't have left your ass. So get your shit together. Right?
So what do you think that means, Revolvement? What do you think that means? If you've been through nothing but hardship and you think you're a terrible man, what do you think about yourself is terrible? You don't seem so bad to me.
This is so important. Trauma is such an important part of being a man. And the Matrix talks of trying to say that trauma is terrible and avoid trauma, or if you get trauma, take a pill. And that's unrealistic. Trauma is going to happen to you. And you as a man need to internalize it, accept it, and weaponize it to become the best version of yourself you can be. And that requires mental strength and stoicism. It does not require, be more emotional. If you're more emotional, you're going to fall apart with shit. You're going to end up like Logan Paul, crying your eyes out, teeth like a bitch.
I imagine there's a lot of men that hate you because they have not done anything with their lives. And you're basically saying, clean it up, buddy. Get it together, hit the gym, make something in your life. And they want to get rich quick. They want the easy way out. And they probably hate you more and more.
And they're like, but it's hard. I don't wanna, but I'm a victim. I have this issue and I'm oppressed by that. That's all the bullshit. So if you had nothing but hardship in your life and you're not if you're not good at being a man, what's the missing piece? So nothing a man should be, or how people think of why. Be that man. What's stopping you?
Feminists. It's interesting. The men who support me online have their shit together. The men who hate me are fat. The men who've done the takedown videos of me are objectively unattractive individuals. I'm not trying to be insulting. Objectively obese, unattractive individuals, right? People don't have their life together. It's the same even more with women. You can find 10 women who are straight up and support me to all you and then you find some girl sitting there, some troll sitting in the corner for women. You know, so there's a lot to be said there, right? And hate always comes from below, it never comes from above. The people who have their lives together, whether male or female, love me. The people who have failed and they know that failures are their own fault, and I show I'm a good mirror, I reflect their own failures at them. Oh yeah, of course they hate. And that's what's happening.
They only hate when you're doing something right. They only hate when you're doing something right.
What most of saying is as follows. This whole idea of protecting women and misogyny has been weaponized to attack someone they don't like. These people saying that we get down to these misogynists, they don't give a fuck about women. Wouldn't they care? There's some fat troll, there's some dude called Daz who made a takedown video of me. He just came out actually on my last podcast. Turns out he was talking to a 13-year-old girl. He was a fat pedophile. There's a fat pedophile.
Surprise, surprise. A fat leftist who has no morals.
I did a video on YouTube about me saying that I'm dangerous for women. 10 million hits because he's objectively unattractive, saying that he cares about women. He's a pedophile himself. He doesn't care about women. He's jealous of me. He's jealous of who I am and my lifestyle. So he's found something he can use to weaponize. If he can't make up that bullshit and attack me, how else can he attack? Can't call me broke. Can't call me dumb. Can't call me stupid. Like, what can he call me? Well, he's better than me at everything. But if I take this and pretend to give a shit, he doesn't give a fuck. I build orphanages in Romania. I have a charity that rescues stray dogs. I take time out of my life replying to emails saving people from suicide. What the fuck does this guy do for anybody? Nothing. He's a good person because he gives a shit? No. He's using it as a vehicle to attack somebody who he knows is his superior. Every single human metric that can be measured by modern science. And he dislikes me for it. All of this is just weaponized care. Oh, we care so much about, they don't care about fucking anything. They don't care about people. They just dislike me.
So revilement is saying that you are nothing a man should be, or how people think a man should be, because you just don't give a flying F about other people's views. That's not really connected. Those two ideas are not connected. I guess I don't care to be I don't know what that says, but it just sounds to me like you're just making excuses, man. Like, if you want to be a better man, then just be a better man. That's the whole point. Again, how is this stopping you from becoming the person you want to be? What is other people's views having to do with how you view yourself? Well, you also suck at talking about yourself. Just instead of saying that you suck at, this is a perfect example, Revolvement. This is the epitome of everything in your life from this day forward. Instead of fucking sending another misspelled chat talking about how stupid and dumb you are, slow the fuck down, spell the things properly, and do better. What is stopping you from slowing down and just typing the words correctly? If you can't even, bring in Jordan Peterson. If you can't type a fucking comment, you can't expect to be a real man. If typing a sentence properly is too much for you, then you are correct. You are not a man. But I know you better than that, Revolvement. I know that you're definitely capable of typing sentences properly. So just do it. Just do it. You obviously do care to, because then you wouldn't be saying things like, I've had nothing in my time. I'm a terrible man. I'm nothing. Then if you don't care, then shut the fuck up. Honestly. When somebody tells me on my show that I'm nothing a man should be, I want to stop the show, talk to you, and say, hey, what is going on? You should not be thinking about yourself this way. What is it that you think is stopping you from being a better man? But if you don't care, then let's move on. Because if you don't care about yourself, nobody else is going to. We got Trey in the building. What is going on? Diving right back into Andrew Tate. And he's getting heated. He's getting up there. Welcome back to the party.
Very different thing. all been false from the beginning. I've seen through it all from the absolute beginning. It's a matrix attack. And like I said, I told you how it happens. YouTube strike, Meta, YouTube, media, Uber, Gmail, Discord, Skype, Twitch, boom, 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 boom. It's all fucking coordinated hippies. Bullshit.
You know, it's crazy. I'm listening to you and I'm saying, okay, so who does not want to hear what you have to say?
We got Rye87 says Tate is such a bottom. Interesting take. Interesting Tate take. Interesting. Welcome to the party, Rye87.
Most people don't want to hear what you have to say. Okay. Now, why is most people not wanting to hear what you have to say? When a kid is being raised, you got the good cop and the bad cop, right? In many instances, the father's a bad cop. Many instances. In the family nucleus where mom and dad are together, the father plays the bad cop. The father comes in, get your shit together. You ain't doing nothing. Be a man. Go make money. Get off your ass. All you're doing is this. All you're doing is that. And that's the message. However, if the market is only filled with only one or the of the two, it's not healthy. Meaning, if it's only Tate giving this message, that's not healthy. If it's only the mom saying, well, leave him alone, Andrew. You're being too tough on him. You don't know what he's going through. He's just a kid. He's 12 years old. Why are you being so tough on him? And you, the father, I'm trying to turn into a man. He needs to be a man. You realize how tough the world is? But babe, he's just a kid, babe. Leave him alone. You don't know what happened with him last week. So then you, as
giving us a whole soap opera here.
Father, goes to sleep. And you tell her you didn't hear anything that she said. But you sit there saying, maybe she's got a point. Maybe she's got a point. And in the morning, you go to the kid and say, hey, no matter how much shit I talk and I challenge you, guess what? I love you. I believe in you. I think you're going to do something special with your life. But I want us to be a leader, right? So
that's why we need two parents in the household.
Our problem with the market is they only want to give mommy's message without daddy's message. This is why I believe this message blew up. Because the market needs this as well. Because so what happens when I listen to Andrew's message, you'll say something. You know what? Like we met a lady of yours.
That's not just me. You guys hear that, right? You guys heard that the sound just clicked in and out like that. I'm running this back because I feel like I'm going crazy. I just paused it in time. Listen.
When I listen to Andrew's message.
Ready? Tell me, type of 1 if you hear the change in the sound or if I'm just going insane.
You'll say something. You know what? Like we met a lady of yours that introduced us yesterday. Said, this is my wife. And we met her, right? And you said, I'm not in a phase where I want to have counsel. If I wanted to, I could every night, I could have a different blah, 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 blah.
Y'all heard that, right?
You say, we say, for me, it's only 5. Okay.
5's the magic number.
And you say 5's the number. Okay. So you say that. And is it satire? Is it real? Is it straight up? Are you just saying it because you still want to poke a little bit? You still don't want to lose the ability to poke? Or is it, that's really what I do want to do? You know, I do want to kind of have 5 wives.
Okay,
because
thank you.
There's a leak in that argument as well. If you take that angle of saying I want to have 5 wives.
No, completely. And that's a good point. And that's an interesting one as well.
You know, I want to stop here again, Robin, and I don't mean to pick on you. You know I care about you, brother. But this is straight cap. This is fucking cap. You do you if you don't care enough about the things that you are doing and saying, then you wouldn't do them. And if it is true, this is how we're gonna know. This is how we're gonna know. If you don't care about what I think of your comments in the sense of being able to read them, I'm not going to spend the time to try to read them. If I can read them, I'll read them. If I can't, I'm just gonna skip it. We'll see how your typing improves or doesn't. If it doesn't, then it'll show me that you really don't care, and okay, you're just going to be, in your opinion, a shitty man and not care about anything. But I don't believe that's the case. I think you do care. I think you should care, and I think you're better than that. I think you're better than that.
Because I had a conversation with a journalist from the Telegraph who came to my house, and I had a long conversation with him, which I'm about to raise. Before that, I just want to quickly say something that you reminded me of earlier. I think that one of the main reasons people hate
is Tristan, is his brother the top?
Is because my message is one of them.
That's a mental image.
That I came from absolutely nothing. I never had a privileged upbringing in any regard, and I became exactly what I wanted to be. And if you subscribe to my message and you're a fat, unhappy man, then you know all of the failures are your own. I'm a reflection. I am saying that if you understand how I think in my world, you could have become anything you want to be. But you're unhappy with who you are, and that is your fault. So the people who hate me sit there and go, well, if he's right, then I fucked up. If he's right, I could have been anyone I wanted to be. And I fucked up. So he can't be right. she has to be wrong. This is not my fault. This is the fault of whatever. I had an unlucky upbringing, or my girl left me, or it's someone else's fault. If I take responsibility, like Tate tells me, then I'm a fuck up.
Right.
So I have to hate Tate. Tate has to be wrong. And that's why if you look at the composition of my haters, I'm talking about their physical composition as people. You look at the people, he likes Tate. He hates Tate.
Yeah.
He likes Tate. She likes Tate. She wants to go and take the off. She can't stand his ass. It's very easy to see. Physically, you can just look at their.
I kind of feel like I wouldn't pass that test. I kind of feel like if he were to look at me, he'd be like, "Nah, soy boy, beta bitch." I don't know how I feel about that, but
Faces. Yep. No. You see it, right? Because it's all about personal responsibility, which is what I teach, and that's why a lot of people hate. So that's the first thing I was talking about reflection. But it's very interesting what you're saying about the 5 wives thing. Part of what I do when I talk, especially about my personal life, to a degree of subversion, I learned this. My father was a chess grandmaster, right? And I used to travel around America with him, and he'd play chess. And back then, there was a lot of former KGB guys who played chess in these massive tournaments. And when they spoke, they were very subversive. He'd introduce you to his girlfriend, and she'd be his wife. And his other girlfriend, she's his wife. And his friend is his daughter. And they just say things that aren't really true. Another thing they do is they're very, very emotive with their hands, which is a habit that I kind of learned sometimes. So if they were sitting there and an argument got kind of heated, they begin to move their hands along. As they very, listen to me, listen, and they move their hands, because then you can't see their head. So they start to move their hands, and you get used to it, and then whack, right? So
brava.
the few things I picked up from them, but there's a degree of subversion. So if I sit and say I have 5 wives, or 10 wives, or 1 wife, or no wife, I like that the Matrix doesn't completely understand why I have. That's one of the main reasons I do it. The second thing is this: I sat there with a reporter from the Telegraph who said that, why would you have 5 wives? If you cheat on them, they're unhappy. And I said, my friend, who are you to tell women how they feel and what decisions they want to make? How insulting of you. How chauvinistic are you to sit and say that women do not have the independent thought to decide, I am prepared to share the top G because of his qualities and accolades and financial capability, as opposed to you to sit here and say they're not allowed to think that. They have to think what we believe they should think, what the Matrix tells them they should think. There are plenty of beautiful women out there who will say, you know what, a man like him, he might do this and that on the side, but you know what, he's my man. There's women who will think that. They won't think it for a fucking loser, but they'll certainly think at the top.
this is something Kevin Samuels talked about to no end. He was a little low key about it, but he absolutely hit on this very, 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 very often. He would always talk about, whenever a woman would call into the show, they talk about, what they want in a man, and and then inevitably they would say that they want a guy that's out of their league. And Kevin would say, well, then you got to share him. Hell no. And he would often bring up, do you think your grandma, your grandparents, do you think, your grandfather had a side piece? Bet you he did. As long as you don't bring home a baby, any diseases, or embarrass the household, then what is the issue for a high-value man? This is something he talked about all the time. Shout out to Kevin Samuels.
Chris Brown walks in the club, and all the girls start screaming. You think they're going, yes, he'll be loyal? No, it's Chris Brown. They don't give a shit because of his status. At a certain status of man, I'm not saying that men should cheat. I'm not saying these things. I'm saying at a certain status of man, the idea of absolute exclusivity and absolute loyalty becomes less important to the female because of his other accolades. That's a fact. Every king, every sultan, read the Bible. Every warlord had a bunch of women. Why? He was the warlord. The fucking shit muncher didn't. The warlord did.
Shit muncher.
That's the way the world's always been.
Distinction, by the way.
There is a distinction. It's just the top. And I'm not saying that all men can do it, but that's also my message. I don't say to all men have a bunch of girls. I don't say that. I say, you better become the fucking man. All I can tell you is what it's like up here and how I got here. If you're telling me you're adamant on staying down there, then don't cry that you're lonely, because I don't know that life. I can't tell you. So once again,
it's stuff like that where you really, that's some G shit. Whether you think he's cringe as fuck, whether you think he's a loser, that's real G shit. And you wish you could say that about yourself, and you can't. I mean, neither can I. But point being, that's something that we all agree is desirable.
again, I talk about 5 wives, 4 wives, whatever, etc. These feminists who attack me saying he gets these women and he cheats on them. If a female decides she wants to be with me, assuming
hey, we got Van Allen in the building. Welcome. Van Allen says, ugly truth. Some would rather want the beautiful lie. 100% agree. Too many people, and an increasing number of people, I would say. It's harder and harder to find people who are actually truly interested in truth. Great comment, Van Allen. Trey says, I think a big part of the problem is that Tate is a character, and he mixes his real message with a lot of BS to entertain, and some shit went too far. Then they only pick up the bullshit and shared it. I do agree with you in general. But the fact is, you have to, just like we saw with Sneeko, you have to be a character in order to get people to watch you. If you're just sitting there saying the message, nobody's gonna watch. How many channels are out there of kids just sitting in front of them like, you should never date a single mother because you're never gonna be a priority. Who's watching that? Nobody's fucking watching that. This isn't school. This is an entertainment platform. So as much as I also want to deliver value with this show, I understand that first and foremost, y'all are here for entertainment. Y'all are here to are you not entertained? And it's just that's the nature that's the nature of these types of messages. That people are going to always take the least charitable interpretation. And like Van Allen said, it's not about the character. It's the fact that they don't want the truth at all. They don't want to hear the truth. And so it doesn't matter how you package it. It doesn't matter how you package it. They don't want the message itself. Freedom of speech is not for things you agree with. Yep, exactly. I just put out a short from talking about this when we were doing the H3 podcast with Tim Dillon about Andrew Tate being banned. And she was saying, well, we can talk about that stuff with other stuff, but not with Andrew Tate. Like, that's not how that works. Free speech isn't for the speech you like. You don't need to protect the speech you like. Freedom of speech is not for the things you agree with.
That's what I even do. I could be Mr. Monogamous for anyone fucking knows, right? Assuming that's what I do, that's her imperative. She's an adult. She can sit there and go, okay, my man's a big boss and he's with me 99% of the time, but I know if he goes to Moscow, he's doing X. But he comes up to me and I'll drive the Bentley and I'm happy. That's her.
Doing X like the variable or X like ecstasy?
That's her imperative. That's her prerogative. It's only the feminists and the fucking people who care so much about misogyny and love the women so much who come along and say women are not allowed to think for themselves. No, they're not allowed to accept that. They can accept whatever they want. Women are the gatekeepers. It's a free market, and women are the gatekeepers. Women have all the choices. If they want to get a guy who doesn't fuck my else, they can go get some other guy. Women have all the options in the world. So if last week I was on my yacht in Croatia, there's me, my brother, and like 30 girls.
Humble brag.
All the girls were getting messages. Why are you there? I want to be here. I want to be on this.
I'm not being held hostage.
Confusing.
Not against my will.
That's their decision to make. How arrogant and narcissistic must you be as a random individual, especially a male, a random, unattractive male with no girlfriend, to message an attractive woman and tell her that what she's doing, she thinks wrong for being with me and my brother on a yacht, that she should instead want him playing video games at home. What kind of level of delusion are you operating under to even believe that that's a paradigm of reality?
Leftist
These are the people who
delusion.
pretend they expose being pedophiles like that's black. So it's just absolutely insane. I'm sorry to keep rambling.
This is a great comment, Van Allen, because you're absolutely right. Is most celebrities have they have a need to preserve their celebrity, and so they don't talk about things like this. You think that Tate is the only guy who likes being on yachts with pretty ladies? No. But, pick a random fucking Chris Pine isn't going to be tweeting about it and telling you how he got to where he is. Van Allen's on fire tonight.
I want to talk about one more thing. But this is really important. They say I'm a threat to women, which is absolutely not the truth. It couldn't be further from the truth. I want to say two things about that. I can't think of another person who reached fame as meteorically as me, who never had I've yet to have a single woman come out and accuse me of rape, sexual assault, try and get money from me. None. I have a long and varied history with females, and not a single one, despite I now have hundreds of millions of dollars, has come forward, now I'm the most famous man in the world, despite the newspapers finding them online, finding exes I've spoken to for years, calling them and offering them 25 grand for a story, bribe, to turn on me. Not one of them has decided to turn on me in life for money. Not one. And that could have very easily happened to me. It would have been a nail in one of the coffins if that would have happened.
Yep.
None of it did because I'm a dementia.
I'll be honest. I 100% would have believed if an ex-girlfriend came out and did some type of expose, I would have leaned towards believing it. Just because, I mean, the from the very first time we talked about Andrew Tate on this channel, I told you that I'd heard some stuff. Nothing has ever been substantiated. But the two sides of that coin is that if you're in the cam girl business, of course, haters are going to say that you're into, moving people around or RPay and that kind of stuff. But it also makes sense that you would be actually doing that stuff if you were involved in the cam girl business. So, as much as I am not, down for believe all women or anything like that, if an ex-girlfriend of Andrew Tate came out and said anything about him, I would be inclined to be like, hold on, let's see what we got here. But none of them did.
And these women know that what's happening to me is bullshit. Not a single one has come forward against me, but I'm somehow a threat to women. I would argue that most men in my position, if they had a meteoric rise, one of their stupid exes would go, fuck this guy. Yeah, I'll take the money and start talking shit. I would argue that happened to a lot of men. Never happened to me. It's the first thing. The second thing I want to argue is when they say I'm a threat to women. If I have choice, why would I be a threat? The threat to women is the man with no access to women. These people who want to do these videos, these unattractive, objectively unattractive, unaccessible.
Oh, those who let's hear that again. I was going to repeat it, but he said it so well.
The thing I want to argue when they say I'm a threat to women. If I have choice, why would I be a threat? The threat to women is the man with no access to women.
The threat to women is the man with no access to women. What else is there to say?
These people who want to do these videos, these unattractive, unattractive, unsuccessful people who do takedown videos with me, who can't get a girlfriend, he's the guy who's going to be a danger to women. He's a creep. I have choices. If a girl says to me, I don't like you, no problem. Thank God, one less WhatsApp conversation. Nice to meet you. It doesn't matter to me, right? So the men who are successful with women are not the dangers. It's the men who are unsuccessful with women who are the dangers. So once again, the whole paradigm is shit. It's bullshit. I have no reason to hurt a female or rape a female or trick a female in any regard. Why would I do that? It's
basic economics, supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
If you're high in demand and there's a ton of women there, and one of the women leaves, you have unlimited supply.
So why am I
But if one man who can't get any females, who has no supply, is in complete high demand, and the woman breaks his heart, or he can't even get a woman, what kind of ramifications are going to happen for him?
And this is the thing. That's black during the height of the takedown. And it's actually also a customer thing, right? Because a lot of people who did videos.
Let's just put this out there right now, though. Just because you're not, a ladies' man or anything, does not mean that you are a threat to women. Let's just make that clear. It's just saying that, we got 5. Really, we can't slow down a 5-hour podcast. We got the captions. I'm repeating. Just hang on. We got all the goods. I'm trying to get through. I really don't want to push this through the weekend, and I'm really trying to get through this. We're only
take me down there for complete selfish reasons. If you do, the algorithm has.
I was going to go 1.5. So
now been programmed to reward you doing a negative video on Tate. If you do a negative video on Tate, you get millions of views. I want millions of views because I have a YouTube channel. I get money. I get clout. Do I give a shit if it's true? Do I give a shit about Tate? Do I give a shit about the ramifications in his life? No. All these other people did it, so I'm going to do it. People start jumping on the bandwagon, right? Tate, bad, for their own personal selfish views. So a guy called Dad's Black did a video on me, got 10 million hits, trying to say that I'm a threat to women. He's objectively unattractive. He's an obese video game. Did a video on me saying that I'm a threat to women. After that, women start coming forward saying, this guy has spoke to a 13-year-old girl.
I appreciate you toughing it out, though, Van Allen. I really do.
Here's the video. This guy buys sexual things from an underage girl. But it's all coming out about him being a pedophile now. So
how many things do they need to drink? They've only been sitting down for an hour and 41 minutes. And the butler has come around 3 times with 3 full trays. Like, I get it. You got a butler for your podcast? That's cool. Have them bring out a bottle and the glasses, pour it, and then, it's distracting. It's distracting. I'm trying to pay attention to what they're saying. And I'm worrying, first of all, now this is all out of focus. The sound's all messed up. Come on. That's not professional.
He's sitting there as the criminal himself, filled of hate and envy at an innocent man, plus crowd chasing, attacking me. When, truthfully, who's turned out to be the threat to women? How many women have come forward about me? 0. How many women have come forward about him? 2 in count. It's absolutely not. It's crazy. And if these social media companies have any kind of consciousness and any kind of brain, they should be analyzing this in real time, going, we fucked up. We fucked up here. We'll see what happens in real time. But it's very interesting. It's a very interesting It's a very interesting observation on the world.
But-
People hate me most of the unsuccessful ones, and it turns out they're the ones with the skeletons in their closet. People have their shit together. We're all fine, right? Crazy world.
Yeah, Tate, you're very persuasive though. So you got to know, like, if I'm willing to bet on you getting out of any situation, I'm willing to bet a lot of money that you're the risk you're going to get out of it. So your ability to persuade. So I can already imagine, like, sometimes go back to the time you're with a girl, you don't really know what you're doing yet. You're kind of a rookie of a guy dating girls. What things we said, that's for the girl. Just think about how creative we get in that 5-minute moment. What things you've probably said, what things we've said. And then over time, you're like, well, that didn't work. I'm not going to use that phrase again, but this one definitely works.
Baby, I love you.
And that approach definitely works. So it's either guilt, but you don't know how much I love you. You're not letting me show you a lot,
Just the tip. I know y'all. Type of one if you've ever gone with just the tip. Only if it's worked.
Sometimes I'm a man. It's natural, as a man, if I don't handle it myself, it's got to be either you or it's going to be wet dreaming. There's so many ways behind closed doors. So if
It's the exact opposite as well. You're like, I don't really care. You can leave if you want.
Max Van Allen says he is just real with no filter. We can learn a lot. And that is true for the haters as well. You don't have to agree with what he's saying to learn from what he's saying. You don't have to be a fan. You can understand, this is a perspective that certain people have. And as we're seeing, it's not just some fringe group. It's a lot of young men. And they do, in fact, feel this way. And Tate is very good at expressing and articulating exactly how.
But there's many to take away model. There's many models that you learn. So for you to say that to a girl, I remember one time Jennifer and my wife, I'm getting close to proposing and getting married. I'm a Syrian, she's white. She's 80% British when we did the ancestry, but she's from Texas. Yeah. She comes to the house. My dad's here's who my dad is. My dad will not drink out of the same glass. I'm his son. He will not. My dad, if he goes to someone else's house, he won't eat their food because he watches how you wash your hands. If he's sitting in the kitchen, he will tell me in a Syrian, he'll say, "Did you watch that?" I said, "What?" He said, "I can't eat her food." Why? It's been 10 minutes. She hasn't washed her hands a single time. I can't eat her food. And he won't eat their food. He says, "I'm already ate." That's how my dad is. I told him, it's one of the bring a Jen home. My dad loves Jen. And I said, "Jen, I think my dad and I have to have a serious conversation with you. Because you have to be ready for this." She says, "What's that?" I said,
You dirty bitch!
You know what it is to marry an Assyrian?" She says, "No." I said, "There's American laws, there's Assyrian laws, and my dad and I want to share this with you." And my dad is fully confused at what I'm saying, where I'm going with this. I said, "When you marry an Assyrian, I'm allowed to have multiple wives because by our church, I can have multiple wives." And for about 30 seconds,
he's bullshitting. I bet you that's the story.
My dad's confused. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But I'm looking at my wife, at the time girlfriend. She's like, "Are you serious?" I said, "This is the first warriors ever were Assyrians. We're the first ever warriors." 30 seconds into my dad's like, "I don't subscribe to that. I don't agree. I agree with wife Jennifer. Don't listen to him. He's full of shit." He says this kind of stuff. Now, say my dad says, "Yeah, you should." Just think about, let's flip it. So my dad says, "Yeah, he's a man. If he gives you money, he gives you house, you should do that." Then I'm kind of going to be like, "Yeah, what's wrong if I do that?" So I think a lot of it is also on, our ability.
Yet another reason why having two parents in the household is a good thing.
That you can persuade, and we can go here, and then sometimes we test the limit and say, "I can go here. Why don't you get your friend in?" I like it, but if you want to, maybe you have some fantasies. I don't know what you're from, but if you want to fulfill your fantasies, it's not like I want to hook up with your friend. You can bring your friend in. And then these words that we use, right? So persuasive wise, you're a 10. You can get anything you want when you're having those conversations. But here's the other part I want to bring to you. Okay? Writing all these things down. You like to instigate. You like to help. Now, let me say it and then you unpack it. Meaning, I think a great...
He was ready to jump on that.
Being a white knows how to instigate. By the way, it's a very valuable talent that only a few people have. Being a white likes to instigate. Phil Jackson, he instigated a lot of shit between Shaq and Kobe, right? Some may even say the friction between Shaq and Kobe is on Phil Jackson, but there's an art to it. So a little bit of what you do is, I kind of look at you and I say, here's how Tate is. If somebody says, "Well, you're wrong in this area," instead of Tate saying, "Let me explain myself," Tate will go and push more because he found an opportunity. He's like, "Let me poke here a little bit more because it's annoying you." Yeah. So do you think you have a little bit of that when you see somebody, maybe half the time, like when you said, "I got 5 wives," I don't even know if I'm convinced you want to have 5 wives. I just think you say it because you're pissing off the right people.
And that's a very...
And that is the part of the entertainment that you need. You need to have entertainment. You need to be entertaining. Because like I said before, if I just said, the tenets of the red pill are, don't do it, you wouldn't fucking want to watch that. Or maybe you would. I don't know. But I mean, I wouldn't. That's part of, the I'm sorry, I forget who it was. Talking about when Trey was saying that he's a character. Like, yes, that is why people listen to what his message is. So if he had a different message, people would still likely listen to him because of the fact that he's an entertaining character. That's exactly why he has so many people paying attention to him.
To observation, you are correct. Anybody you can emotionally control, anybody you can emotionally affect, you have them in your pocket, right? To one degree or another. You can emotionally control somebody. I'll tell you who's excellent at this. Women. Women are fantastic. If a woman realizes she
misogynist!
pisses you off with X thing, she'll notice it. She'll keep it in her pocket. You know what? That noise it. Oh, sorry, baby. Sorry. 3 weeks later, 2 months later, they realize when you're vulnerable.
Yep.
I can tell you this. I can tell you the experience from fighting. When I was fighting, I was a kickboxing world champion, right? I never made millions for fighting. Kickboxing is not that big a sport. 10 years ago, even UFC wasn't as big as it is now. So I was making money, but I was probably fighting 2 or 3 times a year. The most I ever got paid was 100, 150 grand a fight. So I was kind of normal life. And whichever girlfriend I had at the time, no matter what, she always managed to start some asinine, stupid, immature fight with me like 3 days before a fight. Because I'm weight drained, I haven't eaten, I'm nervous, I can't sleep. I've been training for fucking 10 weeks. This monster's from fucking Kazakhstan, some psycho. I had to fly over to fucking fuck knows where and Bishkek to fight him.
Number one bullshit.
Now she's like, you're on the toilet seat. I'm like, the fucking toilet seat. I might die. He can kill me. But she knew that's when I was weak. She knew it. And that's when you can be emotional.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe I heard Tristan Tate talk about how they are writing a book. I don't know if I would read that. If like 5 years ago, I would definitely read an Andrew Tate book. I feel like it's a little bit. I don't know. I would read it. I would be interested for like if he wrote a memoir, I'd be interested in that. I think that he's definitely been through a lot of exciting things. I don't know if I necessarily need a book of prescriptions from Andrew Tate. We're very different people. So there is no way that he could relate to most of the things that are an issue in my life. Yeah. I would absolutely be interested to hear about, him coming up with his father as the chess grandmaster and I forget what else it was. It's shady shit, and they're growing up rough, being fighters, becoming world champions. Then all that stuff. I would definitely be interested in that, but more memoir rather than like self-help.
This is when I can get it. Right? Because the rest of the time,
all time to talk about the goddamn toilet.
Because if I say toilet seat any other time, his answer is go home. And just sit on his computer.
Go home.
Toilet home. Right. No, I don't want to go home. No, now I actually want you to go home. Please leave my house. Oh, no, I don't want to leave. Back. Next girl. So they get you when you're weak, right? And anyone who can emotionally control you and emotionally.
And that's of course, that is how you do it. That is how you do it. You cannot fail the shit test. You have to have your boundaries and you have to have your frame. It doesn't mean you have to be a dick, but it means when she shit tests you, that you hold your ground. You stand firm. They don't always even know that they're shit testing you when they're shit testing you. It's not a, like, at least I don't think it's a conscious thing all the time. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just, a natural or organic situation. And it's not, petty, but it still matters in the grand scheme of the relationship. Are you going to fold here? Are you going to bend the knee? Or are you going to step up and be a man? Even if she's not going to like that in the moment, she eventually will appreciate it and respect you for it.
The effect you have power over you. So if I say, 5 wives, and the feminist goes, 5 wives, I'm fat. I'll sit there and just, yeah, but obviously a lot of food needs cooking, so she needs help. I'm saying
So I am from NJ, and I am 31, 32, 31. What fucking year is it? I don't know. 30. I'm going to be 32 this year. There we go. Greetings from Canada. Oh, Canada, my home and native land. Are you? No, I'll save that for later. I got an inside joke that you may or may not get, and I'm going to wait for the perfect moment. And if it lands, it's going to be great. If it doesn't, it's going to suck. But if it lands, you can be like, oh, this is awesome.
Because they make it too easy.
Yeah.
If you're playing chess and you hang a piece, I'm going to snap it up. You leave your right hanging. Thank you very much, sir. Bam. That's the game. That's the game. So yeah, you're completely right. I do instigate to a degree because they make it so fucking easy to win. It's so easy for me to win debates against people because they get so pissed off with what I say. Another thing, and I'll give the game away. I'll give the game away to the entire YouTube world. Why I've destroyed absolutely everybody in any debate ever.
Ooh, the game. Oh, Top G destroyed absolutely everybody in any debate ever.
I say things that they know are true and that they agree with, but I say it in a way that angers them emotionally. They get caught up in their brain because they're saying, he's saying the truth, but I'm pissed off by how he's saying it. So I want to argue with him, but he's right. So instead of saying men are physically stronger than women, I'll say females are weak. What do you do? Females are weak. Well, females are weak. Men are strong, females are weak. No, but females are, but I'm right. And he knows I'm right. But he's mad now. And so is she. And they sit there, and you'll happen to have it on Dave Portnoy. You end up having a whole group of people sitting there trying to argue. Well, some women are strong like men, trying to argue the fact that women are as strong as men physically. Because I've emotionally controlled them all and upset them all. And then I do a podcast, I get millions and millions of views and unlimited likes against good debaters like Dave and his little crew. I just emotionally controlling them. It's an emotional game. I reckon. I've never given this game away before either. This is what I do. I sit there and I say something they know is true in a way they can't agree with it. And I fucking control it all. Because they're stupid. If I was me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, perhaps I don't like the way you phrased it. You're very true. That takes intellect. People are emotional. This is why I wreck all of them. And you're
I can't wait to clip that shit up. I cannot wait. See, that is why I need the 1.25. There is no way I would have been able to fit that in a short. Oh, I can't wait to clip that up. But fucking facts. That is exactly how I approach debates. That is exactly how I approach debates. I am only interested in what is true. However, there are ways to talk about the truth. And we haven't done too many like actual debates recently. I mean, the most recent one was with Anna Rood about how he thought that advertising plastic surgery for adults was worse than actually transitioning children. So we had a debate on that, and that's exactly how I approach the situation, is say what you know to be true in a way that will get them, like, shook. That's and it depends. It depends on whether, what the context is. If you're just having a conversation with a friend for the sake of the conversation, then that's not how you want to approach it, because you want to learn. You want to engage and get as much as you can from the conversation. When you're online, it's a whole different game. You're not changing anybody's mind on the panel. It's just for whoever's watching. And so what he's talking about, that is the winning tactic. I didn't know that was game, but I guess y'all know the game now.
I poke them on purpose. And it makes it very difficult to argue with me, especially if they agree with what I'm saying, but they don't like the way it's being said. That's where you see the full breakdown, the full mental breakdown.
In regards to the emotion, before I came to Valuetainment, this is 3 years ago, Pat said, I want you to read a book. It was called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism. Yeah. You've referenced Stoicism multiple times, not getting emotional, thinking rational. This was a book that you've subscribed to for years. What is it about Stoicism and not getting caught up in emotions and even triggering emotions that resonate?
So Stoicism is a sect of philosophy where it has to do basically with the notion that feeding into your emotions is, I mean, I'm not a philosopher. I don't know it that well, but feeding into your emotions is a negative thing and will, going off of my own here, will eat away at your life force. So even though things may happen to you, to remain stoic and to remain neutral is the best way to go. And even if somebody is treating you terribly, then as long as you stay I'm trying to think of another word for a stoic, but not rational and stay out of your emotions, then you'll be better off. That's what they're talking about. Oh no! Well, I am very glad you're here. As always, hope you have a great one, and hope to see you on Monday. Peace out, everybody. Type. Nobody's gonna type it. Whatever.
It's with you.
I don't have that much clout yet, but I'm rooting for you.
Well, emotional feedback. The idea that men don't feel emotions is incorrect. We feel emotions. I would actually argue we feel emotions with certain emotions stronger than women. I would argue that we feel heartbreak stronger than women. I would argue we feel anger like a woman could never understand. I would argue we are extremely emotional.
Rage.
Pure rage. But it's feedback. So when you get the feedback, it's all about how you internalize it and how you process it, right? It's having Stoicism's not feeling emotions. It's feeling the emotion and going, okay, why is this happening? How much does this really matter? What's the most intelligent move on the chessboard?
Yes.
I'm not even that good at chess, right? My father was a grandmaster. I'm like 1800 elo. I'm okay. I was a child chess prodigy, but I stopped playing chess professionally.
Does anybody know what that means? 1800 emo?
I was like 8. So I'm as good now as I was. I'm worse now than when I was 8. I've never taken any lessons or anything properly since. My mother and father broke up. We moved to England. My dad stayed in America. Lost my chess coach. England didn't have a chess infrastructure. America had a chess infrastructure in the lower income schools.
I don't know if he's going to bring this up, but just a short aside. I heard him talking about that show, the Netflix one, Queen's Gambit, and how even though it's an intellectual game and not a physical sport, that it is unrealistic to have a woman in the protagonist's story there because of the I don't know. You'd have to hear Andrew Tate talking about it, but what he was saying about, I grew up in these chess halls and people doing this and people doing that, and you just at the top level, you just don't see women. And I don't know. Just a short aside, but Queen's Gambit is bullshit. I enjoyed it, but bullshit.
Go to the
Bullshit.
Go to the black schools and teach them how to play chess. So we had a big infrastructure. We teach it at 8. I did 8, yeah. But chess is a fantastic game because in the game of chess, there's no luck. If you lose,
oh man, I wish Van Allen was still here for this.
You made a mistake. It is the most minor mistake. You made a mistake. So you learn to understand that no matter what happens to you, if you lose a scenario, you made a mistake. Maybe it's a tiny one.
Raman, are you still here? Did you run away? Tell me you're still here. Give me something in the chat, brother. I need to know you're still here.
It was 2 years ago.
Not because I need you to watch my shit, because I want to make sure you're good.
Whatever, but you made a mistake, and you learn absolute utter accountability for yourself. And that mentality is extremely powerful to apply to all things in life. The position I'm in now as the most hated man in the world, although I agree and I truly believe it's unfair, I still take complete responsibility for it. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm telling you why it happened when I talk about TikTok and YouTube Shorts, but I'm not going to blame them. Absolutely, they're a company making money and they're monetizing the best they can. Fantastic. All of this is my fault. But the Bugatti on my drive is my fault. And the yacht is my fault.
Bugatti.
So it's all my fault. So I take the good with the bad. I take all responsibility for absolutely everything, including if a woman leaves me, if a woman stays, if I end up heartbroken, if I end up filled with rage, I take responsibility for that. Something happens to me that makes me enraged. I will take responsibility. Why has this happened to me? Why do I feel this way? How did I end up in this position? Is this healthy in this scenario? And sometimes it is.
Damn, guys, really? 3 likes? Can I get some likes on the video? What are we doing here?
I've had scenarios in my life where I was prepared to die to protect somebody else, and I was enraged, and it was healthy. I've also had times where I'm in a room by myself, enraged, sitting there going, this is no good for anybody. I need to just calm the fuck down. So emotions are feedback, but Stoicism is the ability to process. And that's what you need to learn as a man. You're never going to be able to turn them off. You're going to feel them. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy. It's unlimited energy. I say this all the time. I say that the biggest periods of transformation in my life, when everything was going wrong, when my life was going good, I'm not a hedonistic person. I don't do drugs, gamble. I don't do prostitution. I don't do anything that hedonistic. I'll certainly go on the yacht with the women I know and shit.
And then if you're not familiar, hedonism is essentially just pure following bliss to over anything else. That's your prevailing value is whatever makes me happy, I'm going to do that. So think of your average leftist.
When life's smooth, then it's semi-hedonistic, pretty relaxed. But when I make my biggest progress, when I really change who I am and change the world, that's when everything's fucked. When things go wrong, or I'm feeling things I don't want to feel, or bad things are happening, that's when I'm like, okay, I currently cannot sleep. I've completed the day's task. I've tried to go to bed. I can't sleep. That's when the amazing things happen in my life. When I was heartbroken, when I was whatever, everyone's been heartbroken. I can't remember a specific example. I hit the gym harder, right? If something goes wrong with your payment processor, that's when you get fucking invented. That's business, right? That's when you get invented. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy. Heartbreak is unlimited energy. So is depression. So is rage. So is sadness. All these negative emotions they tell you to collapse behind. It's like people talk like Bruce Lee says, be like water, and people see that as be fluid and just go with the flow. I disagree. If you're like water, you're necessary for life. You are scary when you're enraged. You're powerful. You're beautiful when you're calm. You're so many things when you're like water. Right? So if I'm enraged, It's like water behind the dam. You still the dam in place. You go,
hey, we got Lil Toes in the building. Bam, 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 bam. Welcome. It says, does Andrew Tate smoke Zaza? I don't know what Zaza is, but he just said he doesn't go for any of that stuff. So I'm going to guess no.
But don't tsunami your life. Put the energy somewhere. And this is the most beautiful thing about it, because people message me all the time like, oh, but you don't know how sad I feel. No, you're correct. I know exactly how sad. The difference is I used it. You're sitting here still crying, some random guy on email for the third month in a row. That's the difference between you and me, my friend. I was becoming a world champion kickboxer. I got to a point into it. People often talk about depression and say I don't understand. I will say, listen, there's been times in my life where I was fully functional as an adult. I would never label myself depressed because I don't believe in the idea of labeling myself in a negative. I don't believe in things that take power from me. We'll talk about it in a second. But there's been times in my life where I didn't even talk about it tonight. There were times in my life where I went to fight a man for money. And I didn't give a shit if I lost and even woke up. Didn't give a fuck. Nothing worth living for. I was pro key, didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have any fucking money. A 2-day call to fight some world champion. I had to lose 10 kilos in 2 days. Had nothing else going for me. Go on a plane to Dagestan and fucking won. There's been times I've done that. By all conventional wisdom, I was depressed. I was suicidal. I was just like, no, I don't give a shit. That's most powerful. Now that I get that call, I'm like, bro, I got a new car outside and shit. I'm not going to Dagestan, bro.
Hard to get.
Sorry, how much money? Nah. But back then, I was like, yeah, cool. Time in my life. Oh, this guy.
Shit.
I was never labeled myself. I was depressed. I don't believe in the idea.
Hold on. Struggle streaming over here. Struggle streaming. Hold on 1 second. Okay. What I was going to say is hard to get punched in the face when you're sleeping in satin sheets.
I was sad. I was depressed. And all these things. And the difference was the framing. It was the framing of it. That makes
yeah, you know what you take me to? You take me to Tom Cruise with Matt Lauer. And I don't know if you've seen this or not. With Tom Cruise on Matt Lauer. And Tom Cruise is that's the general. This is Tom Cruise, Matt Lauer. And, you know, Tom is a Scientologist who does not believe in medication. He does not believe in taking, you know, antidepressants. He doesn't believe in Ritalin. He doesn't believe in any of that stuff. I don't know where you stand with this medication stuff. He's not for it. And Matt Lauer is saying, what's wrong with this house that booked you? What's wrong with this house? He says, you don't realize what this is doing. This is ruining their lives. This is not helping them. Do you realize how many different countries this is illegal in? Do you realize that Ritalin is only legal in a couple different countries? It's not many countries. It's not a legal drug in other places. It's legal. And he's explaining this. And believe it or not, afterwards, they pinned Tom Cruise to be
all right, Wesley.
Almost an asshole, like a misogynist. Like, what is the matter with you? Insensitive. You're not passionate. You're not somebody that cares about another person. Years later, Tom Cruise looks like the hero, but in the heat of the moment, he didn't come out really good, right? So we're living in an era where you're right. A part of it is that you're not feeling that you're depressed. Take 2 of these, see what happens to you.
It's a hero's art. And this is the thing. This is why when I was saying when people say you don't know how it feels to be depressed. Yes, I do. The difference is how it's analyzed. I always argue this 2 ways as well when depressed people, because one of the most famous things people attack me for is there's a little quote. They say, you said depression isn't real. What about the men who kill themselves? You don't care about men's mental health. We already discussed how I care more about men's mental health than these people who fucking end it. First thing. I didn't say depression isn't real. I said feeling depressed is real. But the idea that depression is going to strike you in your mind and there's nothing you can do about it, I think that is promoting helplessness amongst depressed people and amongst people. I don't think that making people helpless in an unfortunate situation is a great thing to do. You have to give people hope. And I explain that when you believe in something, you give it power. So I tried to say that when I felt at my lowest and I achieved the most I've ever achieved in my life, the reason I was capable of doing that is because I didn't believe in the paradigm of being a depressed person. I just believe that this is how I currently feel, and fuck it, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make my life better.
I think that he absolutely there's people there's 2 types of people. There's people who get the feeling of being depressed, and then there's people who legitimately have neurological, biochemical, you know, screwy shit going on. I think unquestionably the people who have the actual the wiring mixed up. Okay, then absolutely the SSRI type medication that medical science has brought us, amazing, as Jesse Lee Peterson would say. But I absolutely agree that the number of people who just use that diagnosis as just a saw your comment and all right, I'm coming back to it. But the number of people who just act like being depressed is a mood, kind of like how they act like gender is a mood, but that's a whole other thing. The number of people who act like depression is a mood and not an actual disorder and just are perpetually in that depressed mood, I think Tate is on point there. So unfortunately for me, I forgot to do push-ups today. So thank you, Lil Toes, for keeping me accountable. And we're going to do them right here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. Thank you, Little Toes. Oh, Jesus. You don't need to patronize me, but thank you. All right, let's get back to the show. Thank you, Little Toes, holding me accountable. That's what boys do. That's what your boys should be doing for you.
And I gave a very simple example, an analogy. I said, if you take two people, one believes in ghosts and one doesn't, you put them both in haunted houses. And in the middle of the night, there's a bang. The person who believes in ghosts is now terrified. There's a ghost. They're calling an exorcist. They're panicking in the room. They're hiding. The person who doesn't believe in ghosts goes wind, goes back to sleep. It's the same.
I want to run this back. I missed the very beginning, and this is very interesting. I've never heard anything like this.
One to do whatever it takes to make my life better. I gave a very simple example, an analogy. I said, if you take two people, one believes in ghosts and one doesn't, you put them both in haunted houses. And in the middle of the night, there's a bang. The person who believes in ghosts is now terrified. There's a ghost. They're calling an exorcist. They're panicking in the room. They're hiding. The person who doesn't believe in ghosts goes wind, goes back to sleep. It's the same noise. It's the same scenario. But it's the belief in their mind that terrifies, ruins their life. It's the belief in their mind that turns against them. And I said this.
So wait a minute. Are you telling me that what you believe actually has an effect on the actions you take in the world? And so just letting people believe whatever they want is not a good thing? Is that what you're telling me, Andrew Tate? Well, then we have to have a conversation about religion.
Anytime. I don't even give a shit about right and wrong. You can tell me depression's, you can give me every scientific proof in the world, depression. I refuse to believe in things that take my power away from me. I'm only going to construct a mental model that allows me to be as powerful as possible. If believing in the idea of depression is going to take my own power away, then I won't believe in it. I don't want to believe in things that make me weak. If you want to reach me, I'm on Minute. Minute is a new app. Fantastic. Right. It allows me to interact directly with people. I get a lot of messages on email. All right,
we'll give them the plug.
People who are serious, who want to have serious conversations and grow from them, whether it's a business opportunity or personal experience, etc. I'm on Minute, and I can't wait to interact with the serious individuals in the world. I believe
what a terrible person to have for a site called what is it? Minect? That's Connect? Minute? What the fuck is the site? I already forget.
Things that make me strong. Some of those you're wrong.
Make me on board.
Listen, let's assume you're correct and that makes me wrong. Let's say that you're right and you're depressed. Why would I want to adopt the thinking of a man who is sad? Why would I want to think like you? Wouldn't it better to be wrong and be happy and have a sports car and a yacht and a private jet? You want to talk about right? Look at your life. I don't talk about right and wrong. Let's talk about success and results. I don't believe in things that take power.
Ignorance is bliss.
So when people email me and they say, I'm depressed. And what's funny is this. I talk to them and they desperately defend the idea of depression. I'm like, my friend, you just told me you're too depressed to be successful and depression has destroyed your life and you lost your girl. I'm telling you that the enemy in your life isn't real. And you're now sending me 10 emails a week trying to convince me that your enemy is a real thing. Why are you speaking up for your enemy? This person, whatever it is, this idea destroyed you and you're putting your energy into defending it.
He said this person, whatever, this idea, whatever.
You should be on my team. Whose team are you on here? You want to sit here and convince me? I'm never going to believe you. I'm never going to adopt your thinking because your life is not successful enough to emulate. So why don't you try to adopt my way of thinking? Stop defending this. And they're defending it because it's a cure-all excuse. Depression or sadness is a cure-all excuse for men to use for failure. I have failed. That's why they say I don't believe in men's mental health, or the man who's depressed can't compete with the man who's not depressed. That's this quote. I say, listen, you get to roll out, be fat, be out of shape, be broke, be unimportant with no girlfriend. And instead of the world thinking you're a loser, you get to say, I'm not a loser, I'm depressed. It's a shield. Yep. I say that's why you don't want to lose your shield. Because now you have accountability, now you have performance. Call out. Fuck it off. I don't give a shit if it's real or not. We're not about that. We're talking about success here. Get rid of your excuses. Anything that's ruined your life, you get to fucking work. And every time anyone has ever listened to me in history, ever, every single one of them has transformed their lives and message me positive, message back every single fucking time. That's why I'm antidepressant. Because that pill ain't gonna fix you the way becoming the man you wish you were is gonna fix you.
Antidepressant. So you are a depressant yourself?
It's crazy. And then they're gonna take one.
That was a much better joke in my head.
Mental health, he thinks depressed people is that some bullshit. And they're gonna apply it to me. I really do believe, and I say this almost with a degree of achievement, I'm the most misunderstood man on the planet. I really believe I am. It's crazy. There are people out there who truly believe I am evil.
Are you though? Are you though? Because I know thousands and thousands and thousands of young men who follow you, love what you say, and understand you very well. Don't be them. I'm the most misunderstood man. I only have like a couple million people who agree with me. Come on, guy. Come on, guy.
And I'm nothing close to him. I'm one of the most compassionate people you could possibly meet.
Can I give you 2 takeaways just for people that are like, oh, entertainment? Here's what I've heard from you so far. Personal responsibility. Straight up. All right. And then number 2, positive affirmation. I don't want negativity in my life. I don't want depression around me. I don't want weakness around me. I want to be the best person I can be and take full responsibility for that.
Right.
Those are 2 things I'm hearing. We'll go on further.
I'll tell you a story, which is going to make me sound a little bit extreme. This is a story about my friend.
So I was going to ask you this story if this is a true story.
It's a true story.
Okay, about your boy that showed weakness.
Yeah.
You got to hear this again. Right. You know the story? Jesus Christ.
Right. So I don't like negativity in my space. I curate my reality extremely efficiently. So no matter what bad happens to me, even in the middle of this shitstorm, for me, my brother, my cousin, Mike.
That's another good line, actually. I let it pass, but I curate my reality carefully. That is exactly how you should go through life. You should be curating what comes into your space, whether it's your physical space or your mental space. I curate my life very efficiently.
Team we're staying around. We're all supposed to be. The whole news is saying I'm the worst man in the world. I've been deleted from everything. They've frozen millions of dollars in bank accounts. Right? Me and my boys are just sitting there, just laughing. Right? We don't believe in negativity because it's infectious and it's sticky. And even if someone's negative, even if you talk them out of it, it still stains the air. Right? You're in a trench and you're under fire. The least productive person is the person who goes, "We got too much artillery. We're going to do it." Shut the fuck up. We all know. Shut up. That's not helping us. Right? It's very infectious. So, and most people understand. They say, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And why the fuck you spend time with negative people? Or people who complain, or unhappy people, or unlucky people, or negative people? Don't talk to them. Everyone I talk to is like, yeah, we are winners. All we do is fucking win. Oh, the Matrix attacks us. Oh, you think I need YouTube? You think I need YouTube? Get fucked. That's who we are, right? So this was when I was young. I was about 23 years old. I had a new girlfriend. Her name was Carrie. And her ex-boyfriend, I stole her from her ex-boyfriend. And if you're a man, you understand that no woman's truly single. You're always stealing her from some other guy, or she's still half talking to her. Oh, bro, she's half talking to her ex, or she's dating.
She's not yours. It's just your turn.
10 guys are always out competing other men, right? So stole her from some dude. Dude got heartbroken. Had no emotional control of all the things we talked about. I was at her house. My car was outside her house. I was with my boy, Tony, my ex-friend. Me and Tony are in her house.
Oh, Jesus. What did Tony do?
4 cars pull up. Boom, 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 boom. There's 6 guys got with hammers. Not in the door. It's her ex-boyfriend. Carrie says, "Anthony, he's crazy. He's crazy." Hey, listen, relax. I go outside with Tony. There's 6 guys with hammers. It's me and Tony, right? And they say, he goes, "Bro, I don't even give a fuck about Carrie. You're going to say sorry to me." Sorry for what? Because you stole my girl, you're going to say sorry. And, and we'll just go away. So I'm not going to lie to you, my friend. I'm not sorry for fucking anything. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sorry. And then my friend Tony next to me, and when I said that, I swear to God, when I said that in real time, I don't take
Tony was like, "What? Fuck, get the fuck out of here!" He said he was an ex-friend. That, I mean, how is your boy coming out you 2 against 6 dudes with hammers, and you started the story off with he's an ex-friend?
My eyes off the end, right? There's 6 of them. They're all facing me directly. I was looking in their eyes directly. When I said that, I saw all of their eyes go, shit. You ain't gonna say sorry. So now we have to actually attack the hammers. And we actually want to attack it. At the time, I was British kickboxing champion. I was known in my town. They knew it was me messing, right? And I had one hand behind my back. Well, I had nothing in it. I had nothing in it.
Who knows what's back there?
That is brilliant. I didn't know what he meant. Like, I had one hand behind my back. I thought he meant like he had one hand. I think he said he had one hand. That's brilliant.
Do something. So they're looking at me and they're like, "Fuck's sake."
I have a feeling that's going to be one of those things that sticks with me, and I'm going to be in a situation where I'm right on the edge of being able to talk my way out of a situation. And this moment, This moment's going to pop into my head, and I'm just going to reach back. I'll be like, look, and hey, maybe it'll work. Maybe I'll die. Who knows?
Say sorry, he didn't. Now what do we do? And Tony pipes up. Fucking dickhead Tony.
Oh,
Hey, man, why don't you just say sorry? And as he
oh, Tony! No! Tony! Tony! Whose side are you on, bro? Whose side are you on? I would definitely be thinking, bro, just fucking say sorry. But we out here. That ship has sailed.
said that, I saw all of their faces almost lit up.
Light up, yep.
Because he inspired, the other team showed weakness, inspired weakness on our side. And from complete capitulation, they were now brave again. Because Tony ran his mouth. I swear on my father's grave, stand there. Tony said that. I turned out, fucking smacked him, ran his mouth, fucking out cold.
Tony,
my own friend, my own teammate against this shit.
I would call bullshit if I didn't have friends myself who weren't, they're not kickboxers or fighters or whatever. And they get into fist fights with other friends. Like, I don't operate that way because I'm an adult and have a mouth and a brain. But crazy.
That
shit happens.
I don't need you now, Tony.
I said, fuck him and fuck you. I'm in the house. I walked in the house.
Fuck you, Tony.
I'm outside with hammers. Look at Tony asleep. And go back in the car and walk off. Swear to God, that's a true story. If you're weak near me, you make me weak. I refuse to accept it. I can do a million stories of this. 2 years ago, maybe, we were in Munich. They called the police on me for not wearing a mask. That's a whole nother story. I told them to get fucked. Well, we're in Munich. I wasn't wearing a mask. Hold up. We got drunk in the Kapinski. Got really drunk. I was drinking with some guys I kind of knew. In the morning, the police had come. They're threatening to arrest us all because we didn't fucking bitch like we're 8 masks. The Germans are weird. We got in our cars, got in our two Ferraris, ran back. We were drunk loads. We were really, really drunk. We stopped at the gas station. We all got out of the car. One of the guys was like, bro, I feel so sick. Oh, man, I feel sick. He was walking to the gas station. I said, and I went up to him. My brother, also time ago. I patted him on the back. I said, bro, if you're going to keep walking like a fucking injured antelope, you're going to stay here. We drunk booze. We all feel like shit. I'm not walking around Earth with some dude. I don't want you in my group. I don't want you getting in my car.
Again, I am that guy that will feel that way. And I had to learn, shut the fuck up. As Tate said, shut the fuck up. I can be a little bitch sometimes. It's like, oh, I don't want to. Like, oh, it's so early. Like, fuck. I have to go to the fucking post office. Whatever. But very quickly, you realize people do not appreciate that shit. And you keep it to your goddamn self and do what needs to be done.
I don't want you near me. When I walk with my team, you look and go, let's choose someone else. Let's choose another group to prey on. You are the weakness in this group. I don't give a yeah, you drunk whiskey. Yeah, you feel shit. If you can't turn it on for 2 minutes to go piss and come back in the car, then get fucked. I had a serious conversation with the guy. Just was just so right. And there was no threat. We're at a gas station. I can't even look at
to an ex-drug addict. That story sounds so funny because there's times when you're well, I'll just use my own story. There's times where I've been a server at a restaurant and I'll greet a table, take their order, put their order in, go to the bathroom, crush up a pill, hit the pill, go get their food, bring them the food, and then between the time that you drop the food, within like 2 minutes, you're supposed to go, how's everything doing over here? Anything I can get for you guys? That kind of whole thing. And I would use that 2 minutes to go and puke in the bathroom, rinse out my mouth, come back. How's everybody doing tonight? And, just not every time. I wouldn't get sick every time, but sometimes, when you're doing opiates, you're going to get sick sometimes. So that guy's a bitch.
Yeah, near me. I can't just see people near me being all or crying or sad or whatever. You're allowed to feel sad. Of course, your girl left you, you lost your job, you're allowed to feel sad. That's fine. You feel sad. You feel sad right now? Good, great. Sit in the booth. Shut the fuck up. Me and my brother have another quote. What do you want? Therapy? We say it all the time, Brent. What about hangover? You want therapy? No. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Why are you even saying it out loud? Why are you believing in it? Why are you making it real? We all feel like trash. We drunk through 10 bottles of whiskey. We all feel like trash. But we're high net worth individuals getting out Ferraris in a country we don't have security. Nobody's walking like we do. It's a reality you have to create. And when you get your shit straight, it affects your entire life.
See, again, the captions keep saying that he's creating his reality. But I think he's saying curate. That's a much better message. I'm going to run it back just for that. But You guys tell me what you think. You think he's saying create your own reality or whatever reality, or curate?
It's a reality you have to create. And when you get your shit straight, it affects your
Say a reality you have to create. Curate or create?
entire life. And men understand this. They say, I understand you're the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. And why are you friends with all these fucking nobodies? Why are you friends with these losers? Why are you doing it then? Then you're accepting what you're going to be.
Emotional, damn it.
I love winners. Show me a winner. I love winners all day long, my friend. That's who I want to be friends with. Winners. That's who I want to be friends with. I don't want to be friends with anybody else. I don't see the advantage to it. And that's how I've always created my life. And it's served me very, very well. And I refuse to accept anything else because negative energy is extremely sticky. If you have friends who are talking negative shit, try and fix them. It's your duty. But if they're sticking to their negative narrative, you don't have a responsibility to them to a degree to sit there and allow them to improve your life.
That is a message that I needed to hear 7-8 years ago. There's one friend in particular. For those of you who saw the last watch party, the Filthy Casual watch party on the Talking Shit podcast, I had a friend here. I am friends with him and his brother, and he was not comporting himself in a great way. Both he and his brother are people that I've tried over and over and over and over and over again to try to put on some game somewhere. When I figured out what crypto was, and I was like, yo, this is a thing. Hop on crypto. When I started with like, yo, I'm doing YouTube. Let's just do something here. I got a podcast, all of this stuff. And some people are just stuck in their ways. And this isn't some weak-minded person. This is just somebody who is convinced that their life is the way it is, and there's nothing that they can do about it. Cut those people out of your life.
That's what they're going to do. You have to get to a point where it's like,
Goodbye. How many friends have you had to completely cut off? I'm not saying knock out like our friend Tony's probably still sitting there in the ditch.
Yeah.
Tony's out there like, Jesus Christ.
Tony, listen, had that. You could have inspired them to rush me and kill me. On a serious note, you could have been the inspiration for my dad. So it had to happen. I hope your life's going well. I'm sure it's not going as well as mine.
Sorry,
That's
Tony.
how it goes, my friend.
Yeah.
But,
how many other guys have you had to cut off?
you'd be surprised because there's so many, because everyone likes to talk a good talk and everyone likes to defend their X, Y, Z. And I'm quite a fair person, you know, and I love my biggest friends in the world today are friends who I had when I had nothing and they came up with me. Let's say when I had nothing, I had 10 friends. Now I'm at the top, I have 4. The 6 I had to drop just didn't level up with me. And there's only so long you can pay for them to go to the golf,
hell yeah.
pay for them to go on holiday, lend them a car. It's so long until it's like.
And I'm not even at that level. I'm a broke dude, just doing nothing. And I'm relating to what he's saying. How some people will just ride a wave knowing it's going to crash, but just enjoy the ride while they're there and not and worry about the surf when they're when it comes and hits them in the face.
Everyone else pulled this off. Everyone else, and I've offered you a job, and now you're sick, you're tired. It gets to a point where it's just detrimental to your life, and you have to be ruthless about it because you have to create your reality. It's the only way to do it.
You can't compromise.
He's saying curate. Everybody right now in the chat, do you think he's saying curate your reality or create your reality? I'm going to run it back one more time. I want all of you to give an answer. Curate or create? Here we go.
Point where that's detrimental to your life, and you have to be ruthless about it because you have to create your reality. It's the only way to do it.
You can't compromise.
One more time.
Point where it's just detrimental to your life, and you have to be ruthless about it because you have to create your reality. It's the only way to do it.
You can't
Curate or create? Please help me out. What do you think he's saying?
compromise your standards. By the way, I'm listening to him and I'm just going back to stories myself because at one point I went to a different direction than Tate did. But you cannot compromise your standards for nobody. Nobody. That includes your spouse, your friends, your family, nobody. There's a difference between loving somebody and compromising your standards. Those are two different. I love a lot of people and I'm not compromising my standards for people I love. Mm-hmm. You cannot be doing that because only you know how big your dreams are. Only you know what life you want to build and only you know who you want to be. Compromising your standards for the biggest fatal mistakes any man or human being can make. You know, you were telling a ghost story. You took me to a place which is crazy. We rented this castle called the Weaponized Castle in New York. Funny story. You'll appreciate this. So when we rent this place out, it's a beautiful property, $150 million property. I rent out all the 32 rooms, and it's got one of the best restaurants in town, so we rent it out. Now, a couple of my guys who are very superstitious, they say, Pat, I read articles, this place is haunted. So So one of the guys, Alejandro, who's Mexican, you know who Alejandro is, Ricky's brother.
His brother, yeah.
He's Mexican.
He's very
Badass
specific.
guy.
He says,
Yeah.
hey, Pat, guess what? By the way, these brothers, they're
Right.
brothers. Like, if you meet them, they're like,
They could compete with the Tate brothers and
shit brothers.
yeah.
Now, Alejandro says, hey, Pat, I'm here. This place has got ghosts. I said, it does. He says, really? I said, of course this place is haunted. So now I'm playing with him because I'm trying to say that night, so whatever you do, sleep tonight, be careful because I hear they pull notes and all this other stuff. I go to Mario and the guys, I said, guys, tell me when Alejandro goes to sleep. Alejandro goes to sleep. I take a note and I write. I'm watching you. At 1 o'clock in the morning, I slide because it's one of these old doors. I slide it under his doors. We go to the side and we hide. We knock on the door. He comes out. He says, who's out there? Who's out there? He's panicking. Next morning, now we all go to school. We wake up. First person I ask us, so guys, last time we talked a lot of different things. Alejandro, how was your night? This place is haunted. This is haunted. Anyways, but going back
That's
to
funny as
you,
shit.
Talking about Logan calling you. And for you, you said, I don't give a shit about YouTube. You think YouTube's that important to me? I don't care about being banned from you. You're making this comment, this argument, right? Okay, fine. And you said, we're solving for two different things. Okay. He's solving for one thing. You're solving for another thing.
I think PBD is referencing what Tate was saying about viewers versus fans. I think. But let's see.
You present yourself as a methodical person, as a person that's very much about sequencing, as a person that is about my next 5, 10, 15 moves. Who's a Logan trying to be in your POV, and who are you trying to be? Then I got a follow-up question for you on that.
That's a good question. I don't think that Logan is actually thinking that far ahead. For him, it's more about preservation. He's been canceled once before. He doesn't want to get canceled again. He wants to have viewers. He wants to get a big YouTube channel. He wants to sustain it. He wants to continue to be an entertainer, a clown for as long as possible. I don't think he's thinking anything beyond that. He wants money in his own pocket. He doesn't care about the society as a whole. He doesn't care about the ideas he enforces. He doesn't care about people who watches him. He doesn't care about their mentality. He's quite selfish. I want my YouTube channel. I want my money. I'll say what I'm told to say. He's told. My intention is to truthfully, and I say this in a religious sense, but it's not a particular religion. It's just a religious sense. I want to live true to God. And by living true to God, it has to live true to my ideals and what I believe is the best for the world, what I believe is best for men as a whole. And I also want to try and create a world which reflects that. And my intention is much beyond a YouTube channel. I don't give a fuck if I lose a YouTube channel. I don't care which platform I'm on. I want to know what I'm saying is true to how I live, and that if people emulate it, they're going to genuinely end up with a better life. People, when I got banned, said, well, we don't want people to end up like Tate. And I said, why? I have no criminal record, no criminal convictions, successful, hundreds of millions of dollars, dedicated. Like, what would be so bad if men ended up a version of me? Like, what am I going to do to the world? Right? So, and I also think this ties
Talk.
back to something earlier you said about China. Do you know what the most, I've never heard this statistic. They ask Chinese children what they want to be when they grow up. And they ask Western American children what they want to be when they grow up. The most popular answer in China.
I don't know what it is in China, but definitely in America, it's YouTuber or influencer or TikToker or something. Guaranteed.
China was astronaut and engineer. The most popular answer in America, YouTuber. Doesn't that say so much about the mentality of the youth?
Yep.
Right? So I'm probably more on
Stupid Americans. You think you just sit in front of a camera on a computer, react to some videos, get rich? I hope.
the engineer, or perhaps philosopher at least, or at least brave. We're not trying to teach tenets that people replicate are going to be good for them as a whole. China, we have engineer astronaut. Logan, entertainer. He doesn't care if he has to make a fool of himself. He doesn't care if it's a stupid costume. He doesn't care if it's to be a clown. Anything to get, because he's selfish. So I think that we're just, you're right, we're solving for completely different things. I know I'm a net positive for the world. He's a very selfish individual. And I think if people try and replicate me, it's better for the world. I think if people try and replicate Logan Paul, well, let me be a clown. Let me just try and make jokes and wear super suits. Let me mock the dead, mock people who commit suicide, and then let me just say anything I'm told about a YouTube channel. I don't think that's good. I think that's actually detrimental. I see him as a detriment. I see him as a positive.
Okay, so my follow-up here is the following. So during COVID, the first
I hate when people speak in redundancies like that. My follow-up is the following. There is no part of that you needed to say. My follow-up is the following. You could just start with the first person
that interviewed a doctor that got 20 million views that got everybody thinking was Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan interviewed this one doctor. I don't know who it was. I don't remember the guy's name. No. This is
Dr. Robert Malone, part inventor of mRNA vaccine technology.
No, this is March of 2020. If you can pull it up, you'll see who he was. He interviewed this guy, and he got, Joe was saying, so listen, I'm being told if I go in the sauna, if I sit in the, steam room and I sweat it out, and it says, no, this is not that. This is this. And it wasn't a person that would have said it otherwise. So people believed him and said, okay, maybe this is something we have to pay close attention to. Anyways, during COVID, I believe Joe played a very important role.
Super important.
Super necessary voice. I was telling him
which is precisely why they went after him. The only reason the establishment media went after Joe Rogan is because he was telling the truth. So going back to what Trey was saying earlier about, the reason that he, the big part of the problem is that Tate is a character and da-da-da-da-da. Maybe. But the point is, Joe Rogan's not a character. He's got character. He is a persona, but he's not a character. He's just a guy. And he was never, ever, ever in bad graces with the establishment until what he was saying, no matter how he was saying it, what he was saying no longer fit the agenda, no longer fit the narrative. Now, because of his reach, public enemy number one. So it doesn't matter how we all try to dance around the algorithm and this and that. Are you really telling me that the only 3 people on the internet are interested in watching a stream about Andrew Tate right now? Yeah? You sure about that? Or maybe, is this not being pushed out to as many people as it would have if I was talking about something more innocuous? I know for a fact that people care about Andrew Tate. That's the only reason I'm talking about him. Not the only reason, but I could make these points with somebody else, but there's a reason we're talking about Andrew Tate. Yet, there's only 3 of you watching. And as much as I very, very much appreciate the 3 of you, you the only ones? You're the only people on the internet who either care about what I have to say or what Andrew Tate has to say. Okay, if there's 3 people on the internet who care what I have to say, cool. That's awesome. Don't tell me there's only 3 people on the internet. Okay, now we got 4 who care about Andrew Tate. That's just not how it works.
So I don't know if you realize this. You may be one of the most necessary voices in America on what you've been able to do. So now, Alex Jones will say to Joe, and I've heard Alex say, I know Joe believes this stuff, but Joe knows how to maneuver around it. Yeah. And he's just like learning how to maneuver in. But I know he believes me, but he acts like he does with him. But I don't know, maybe. So, and Alex is saying this about Joe. So then you hear, what's his name? You hear,
it's like, Joe, you know more about this than I do. Come on. Don't act like you don't know. Come on, you know. It's the thing. They're turning the frogs gay. God damn it.
Dave Chappelle does a comedy special. Yeah. And he says, hey, ladies, I just want to tell you, I think one of the most miraculous things you can do is have a baby. Yeah. It's, you should have freedom of choice. Yeah. I'm for you. Yeah. You should have.
Men can have babies too.
You should have freedom of choice. But there's a but. If you choose to keep the baby, I can also choose not to pay child support. And all some people, wait. No, that's not. No, it's not cool because this isn't. So then, but some people say, well, listen, he makes a very good point. Yeah. If it's your choice, it should be my choice whether I should pay or not. But whether he's right or not, it's irrelevant. It started the conversation. Then the one bit he did about, so I see this car, there's the LGBT, everybody that's in, there's a queer, there's this, there's a trans, there's this.
There's a queer.
Right? And he calls out the transgender community and they're about to cancel this guy, right? Okay. Neither Joe nor Chappelle got canceled. Correct. That's good for society. Agreed. Hear me out. Agreed. That's good for society that neither Joe nor Chappelle. Society needs these 2 guys. Agreed. Because they get to talk about stuff that gets everyone to be on the edge. Now, Joe almost got canceled. Almost. I mean, that came from him hard. Very much. The hardcore. He almost got canceled because of the N-word or because of all these other videos that resurfaced. And he came out and he did his video and he said, here's why I watched it, et cetera, et cetera. And then Chappelle took his angle as well, but they tried to cancel him as well. But all I'm saying is from how we need certain people to be out there pushing the envelope and questioning the status quo. So you're looking.
I 100% agree with that. Part of me, though, is curious. What would happen if cancel culture just went 5 times harder than they are now? And they actually were canceling the Joe Rogans and the excuse me, just the more innocuous people. Would it be better for the What the fuck happened? Can you hear me? Give me a 1 or something if you can hear me. And something just happened. I don't know if you guys are hearing me. So somebody say something. But yeah, we're kind of in this limbo where, it's reasonable, quote unquote, reasonable. When somebody gets banned, the normies are like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And they're slowly moving away from the fringes and more towards the normies. And something tells me that if they take a step too far and they cancel somebody who is a normie, maybe that would be better in the long run, because that would be enough for people to actually start paying attention and be like, okay, well, we believe in free speech. We just don't want people out here inciting violence. And now you've taken it to a whole other level by by saying silence is violence and all that shit. I'm getting worried. Somebody put something in the comments. Can anybody hear me? Am I talking to myself? Is there anybody here? I don't want to go too far past the video if you guys can't hear me. There was something glitched. Anybody? Put a 1, put a Y, put a hey, put a hi, something. All right, I'm going to move on because more people are coming in.
Back for yourself right now.
Yeah.
There may be a lot of people. Now you can say, look, I'm not solving to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I'm not solving to be on TikTok. I'm not solving to be on Instagram.
Yeah.
But the messaging is not going to be as visible.
Agreed.
As great as, Rumble stock is up and 12%, all this other stuff. I totally get it. I hope they blow up. I think it's great for Facebook to have a competitor, but it's not that.
Can somebody comment and let me know whether you can hear me or not? Thank you. Jesus, y'all have Trey carrying this channel on his back. God damn. Anytime I ask for something, Trey's the only one. The only one. I appreciate you, brother.
First of all, I want to get your thoughts on that, but say you do get a second try at this.
Yeah.
Okay? Say you do get a second try at this. What adjustment would you make?
And that's a good question. And I understand your point absolutely. And I agree with you. The world would be a better place for me on these mainstream platforms. What's interesting is I think they killed me in my infancy. Even though I became the most Googled man on the planet, it was very, very meteoric, happened very quickly. I had already had conversations with my team internally, understanding that now that I'm the most famous man on the planet, I have to create my messaging. I don't say anything different.
Oh my God. Is it create or curate? YouTube keeps putting create. I think it's curate. And of course, nobody's answered me. So let me know what you guys think. Is he saying curate or create?
Say it in a different way. We were already doing that. For a month prior to the ban, we had already changed a lot of the messaging, changed our stance, we said the same things, changed the way we say certain things, removed certain subjects altogether, and we were already creating our messaging. However, they looked at me, and I think that the social media companies saw me as perhaps a 19-year-old warrior who's soon going to become a warrior king, and thought we either kill him now or he's going to become too big to kill. And they decided to kill me now. I've only been super viral for 6 months. If they would have given me a year, the messaging would have absolutely been created to a point that I don't think they would have deleted me at all.
He's absolutely saying curated.
My last post on Instagram was, I wrote this post. I said, I understand that certain people have false narratives about me, and I'm looking to correct them. On Instagram, I put up a post saying that for every like this picture gets, I'm going to donate $2. $1 to female charity to protect them against domestic violence, and $1 to men's mental health charities. $2 per like to show that all my haters who only talk negative, I actually do something to fix the problem. I take negativity and I turn it into light, as God would want me to do, and I donate money. It was a 7-day countdown. Instagram deleted me on the 6th day. When I, at the time of deletion, had 555,000 likes, $1.2 million. I was prepared to donate to charities. Nobody wants to
prepared. I mean, you should still donate. Did you not donate because they banned you?
Talk about that. Nobody wants to mention it. I'm evil, right? At the time of my deletion, when I got deleted, the only appeal I sent to Instagram, the only message I sent was, can you confirm the number of likes on that picture so I can finish my donation? They ignored me. Well, you're not even want to reply. So I was already understanding that the way you can say certain things when you have 300 views on a video, where most
call it 1.5. I mean, come on, guy, you got it, no?
These views got 300 views, has to be created and changed. Not because I'm saying anything in
Thank you, Trey. Yo, that's why you my boy, dude. That's why you my boy. Exactly. He's definitely saying curated. There's no way. He's saying create reality.
As a professional, you have to understand that things change. And also, no matter what you say, a very small contingent of the world will misunderstand it. If 0.1% of people misunderstand you, that's not a problem when you get 300 views a video. That is a problem when you get 3 million views a video. So me and my team had already accepted this, already decided upon it, and had already implemented it. But the momentum was so strong and the rise was so meteoric social media companies, even a month after our implementation, decided, I'm sure they sat around and said, we kill him now, or he's going to become too famous to kill. And they thought, we have to try and kill him now. Now, they have failed. Rumble in and of itself has proved they've failed.
They have failed!
I get more views on my Rumble videos than I got on my YouTube. When I did a YouTube live, I had around 12,000 views. On my first ever Rumble live, I had 127,000. My second I spent 5,000. So they've martyred.
Talk about the Streisand effect. Talk about the Streisand effect. It already has a name. It already has a name. Why would you think it's not going to apply to people? Hey, we got B in the building. First time I'm seeing you, unless it's a new name. Welcome to the party. I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. We are watching Andrew Tate on Valuetainment. Very glad to have you with us, and even more glad that you agree with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
It made me more famous than ever. But the message has already been created and changed. I understand very, very well, because that's a professional, you have to take accountability. I understand that if a 15-year-old kid, without my life experience, without my credentials, listens to me, not in full, but in segments, small parts, and then takes it on board, it may negatively affect some of his outlook. I understand that. My counter argument is this. Find anything on the entire internet where if it's not chopped in a negative way and fed to 15-year-old kids, where it cannot be a detriment. That's not.
What was Trey saying earlier? This is exactly what I was saying. And that's the nature of telling the truth, is that people, it's not the character, it's the truth. There's plenty of Andrew Tate types out there on the internet. They're not getting canceled. It's the truth of the matter. It's the ability to articulate. He went. I wish I clipped up that or paid attention to where that list where he went down and he connected to. They want you to do this and then that and then Harry Styles and like when he was doing all that. That was poetry. But if you're not prepared to hear it, then you're gonna get triggered. And I mean, the so many people can find solace in being triggered. Like, I mean, I would say as a living, but when you're 13 years old, you don't have. I mean, that's your whole life. Especially these Zoomers who've never known a life not online.
Entire internet. That's anybody. We've already talked about modern culture, having sex with the devil on TV, genders, whatever they're trying to do, make kids chop the dicks off, whatever. We've talked all this. So that's the entire internet. That's not an argument against me. That's an argument against the internet as a whole. But I was responsible enough as an adult to say, okay, I'm still going to take that in mind, and I'm still going to be responsible for that myself and change my messaging, which I intended on doing. But they already decided to nuke me absolutely and completely. And that's where
Absolutely and completely.
I don't want to be too defiant. I'm certainly not looking to go to war with anybody. But part of me is kind of like, I would have never, ever been controlled opposition because I can't be bought and sold. But I would have had very, very detailed conversations with social media execs and say, what are you truly uncomfortable with? The way you say this. Okay, well, here's what I'm trying to say. Yes, okay, so what if I said it this way? Okay, cool. Let's work together. But they didn't want to be reasonable, logical actors. They wanted to just try and annihilate me, hoping I would disappear. And they're realizing in real time that I didn't disappear. So now I'm sitting here.
This is another point which, if it were most other people, you'd be justified in saying, that kind of sounds like bullshit. But you know that he was absolutely, just from the videos that we've watched on this channel of him, it's very clear that he absolutely would be willing to do that. Did it actually happen? I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. That's neither here nor there because you weren't either. All we can go on is what he's saying. Point being, they were never trying to I was just watching a video about where Susan Wojcicki was talking about we care about our creators, and no, you care about your advertisers. You only care about your creators in the sense that they get you advertisers.
Ideologically thinking, do I give a fuck what they think? I only care about making sure my message is a positive for the world. Do I really give a shit what YouTube wants? Now, so if they do let me back, yeah, sure, I understand certain things have to be created, etc., etc. But my messaging will remain true. The things I say, I do mean. They are.
Wait, did the caption say curated or created that time?
Have to be created, etc., etc. But
see, Come on, Google.
My messages do remain true. The things I say, I do mean.
Whatever.
They are genuinely a positive. And this could have been a positive experience for social media. I mean, how much money did I bring to social media companies? I'm the most viewed man on the planet. Not a single monetized video. They wouldn't monetize. Billions of unmonetized views. How much money were they making? Like, it could have been great for everybody. But they got emotional, sat somewhere in California, emotional, decided I was evil.
Cope.
And they decided to go the destructive route. So it's kind of like, you know when the Germans tried to negotiate with the Russians in World War II? There was negotiations at the beginning, and the Russians spoke a lot because they're trying to actually negotiate. And once the Germans overstood the line, it took the piss, destroyed Stalingrad, took a bunch of Russia. When they tried to negotiate with the Russians again, the Russians only asked one question. The German negotiators came when they were losing. The Russians said, "Why are you here?" "Oh, well, I'm here to represent the Germans." No. This is Russia. Why are you here? Where were you born? Berlin. Okay. Tell me the story. Why are you here? And after hours, you end up saying, "Well, I joined the army and Hitler made me do it, and I ended up getting here." Because once you get fucked with to a certain point, it's just like, well, I don't know how much I want to negotiate now. Like, so as the social media companies, if they were to finally come to their senses and speak to me, sure, I understand certain messages need to be created. I understand that. But I don't need that. I no longer need that. There was a point where I perhaps believed I did need that. I now understand that I don't. And that certainly changed the negotiating table. Absolutely not, right? Because my messages, they've only proved me right. All they've done is prove me right in every regard. I have more viewership, more views, more dedicated, more loyal fans than I've ever had. All they've done is damage their stock price. You're correct, Rumble's gone to the moon. All they've done is damage their own stock price and convince everybody who believes in me that the Matrix genuinely doesn't want people to understand my ideals. They have martyred me now. So now it's going to be a matter of, we'll talk to you about coming to your platforms, of course. But I'm going to say the same things I say, and yes, I'll correct the messaging, of course. But we also have to have a conversation as professionals for you to understand that you acted emotionally, made a mistake. And it means a lot to me because I'm a principled man. If some of the senior, whoever, SEO, exec were to say, "Yes, we made a mistake, and we're sorry, we misunderstood you," that's all it would take for me to say, "No problem. I understand that. I'm going to correct my
We know that's not going to happen.
Of course it's not. It's because this will happen with tyranny. When you have a monopoly, and this is the beautiful thing about the world, specifically. When you have a monopoly over anything, you believe that your monopoly will last forever. Everyone always has. The Roman Empire did, the Third Reich, social media companies. When you have a monopoly, we're smarter than all the other control mechanisms and monopolies. We're never going anywhere. We're too smart. And the funny thing about monopolies and tyranny is that you have to use force. And force is something I understand very, very well. Force is a very, very powerful tool until it's overused. Let's use the Romanian example, just because I live in Romania. It's the only reason I'm going to use it. There's a riot, protest, send the army. Get rid of it. Riot, protest, send the army. Get rid of it. Riot, protest, send the army. Try and get rid of it. They won't leave. Open fire on protesters. Too much. People have had fucking enough. Then you end up ousted. There comes a point where you can use force, but once it's overused and people don't believe in your fairness, people don't believe in the fact that you're non-biased and you're still using force, there's a mass uprising. This is a human nature. I truly believe my banning was that moment on social media. The stock prices reflect it. My views on Rumble reflect it. The public sentiment across all social media platforms reflect it. People understand that they have overstepped the mark and they are no longer seen as trusted with force. You can't have force if you're not trusted with it. Yep. The reason we accept our government to have police forces and guns and weapons is to a degree we trust them. Once you accept your government,
do we though? Do we though? I get what he's saying. I'm just being a dick.
Is a psycho tyrannical dictator. You don't want him to have any force anymore. I think they made a massive, massive mistake. And if they don't see it themselves yet, they will certainly. Pressure is behind the dam. The only crack that's missing is for someone to be canceled and be more successful than before. That's all that it takes. One crazy guy in fucking Bucharest. And then you're going to see a massive flood. And I didn't want this war. I didn't want this. This is what social media companies forced me to do. But this is the situation they're currently in, whether they realize it and see it or not. But my cancellation has made me more successful than ever before. So now what? You shot me with your biggest bullet. I'm still here. What do you do now? And that is the responsibility is on them. If they can remove their emotions from disliking me and actually look at the chessboard, they're going to see they have a lot of pressure on some key square.
Can I push back?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me push back a little bit. So on the video, you're going away in the video, you say, I take full responsibility for what's happened. The ban is a good thing. This gives me the opportunity for a fresh start. It's a massive opportunity. I have no ill will for social media companies.
Correct.
For the haters out there, I will pray for you, but I will not go down as a villain.
Correct.
I will not go down as a villain. Fantastic. So, the part that I also see that's a challenge is the following, which is very hard. You know how you're explaining in almost all tyrannical situations, they don't know that they have a monopoly until eventually there's a revolution and then boom, flips, game over, it's over with. Right? I should be in Iran right now. I'm not in Iran because the Shah thought, he wasn't paranoid.
What the fuck is a Shah thought?
No, and he thought he was untouchable. Okay, I'm supposed to be in Iran today. I'm not in Iran. We were forced out. Carter comes in, Kissinger, it's out, came over, and I'm living in the States. Now, God's got a bigger plan. I support it.
Historical shit.
I wish I was in Iran. There's a part of me that's thankful for Jimmy Carter, and there's a part of me that would love to sit down with the guy and have a nice, lengthy conversation with him. But, so the Shah does an interview. I don't know if it's BBC or one of the interviews. They're asking him a question. Iran's growing rapidly. They got this massive 25-year contract with 5 countries for oil from 1954. It's a petroleum contract he signed. It's coming up. It's 77. It's Germany, France, U.S., UK. I believe it's these 4 countries. They're sitting there worried because this guy keeps saying, I'm going to raise the prices. I'm going to raise the prices. In the next 5 years, we're going to be bigger than UK. In the next 25 years, we'll be competing with US. And he's the man in charge. And he's got a smirk on his face when he says this. And a little smirk on a smile on his face says he thinks he's untouchable. What ends up happening? This is a guy running one of the most powerful countries in the world who speaks 7 different languages, possibly the sharpest cat in the world in the 60s, 70s coming up. And his father was Reza Khan, who was a top G, you would call him, a badass mother, you know, at the highest level. He was a guy that was feared because he was an exile because he was military tough. Okay. So this happens, and that takes me to another place where Michael Jordan is getting retired. LeBron tries to do the noble things. I think he should retire number 23 because, you know, Michael Jordan, there's never going to be another Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan says, no man is bigger than the NBA. And I appreciate that, LeBron, but no one is bigger than the NBA, right? Okay. So for you, from where you're at, I get what you're saying. I fully get what you're saying. And by the way, you have to know, we're hoping you're right. We're hoping you go out there and get 100 million subscribers on Rumble, and you have the kind of follow Mr. Beast, PewDiePie have in Rumble, and Chris is going to be a billionaire. You're going to do what you're doing. Everything's going to take off. Great. But we're also in the conversion game. If the outcome is really to talk to people who you can convert, because if you're talking to people that you agree with, you're not really, injecting that philosophy to baptize people. What made you necessary was you were on platforms where 80%, 70% didn't agree with you. Agreed. And you were baptizing. Agreed. You were forcing the conversation at the dinner table. Agreed. You were forcing the conversation at lunch, at dinner, at the gym. I don't agree with him. I think he's full of shit. I think he's what's on. I agree with him. I like what he said. I don't like him. My girl likes him. Why does your girl like him? All this stuff, right? You know, I say this again because I'm glad Joe earned fame status. So this is kind of where I'm going with this. Let me kind of flesh out my thoughts on what I have. Here's what I see you don't have. And if I was an advisor sitting on a board and you're like, hey, I got 5 people, guys, here's what I want to do the next 50 moves. What do you think? And these are people you trust 100%. Bulletproof people. I would say, okay, who do you really have? You don't really have, you have fans. You have true believers. You have 100% true believers. But here's the part.
Yo, do me a favor. If you're watching this right now, I don't know where the fuck everybody is. Do me a favor. I'm just going to stop while I'm talking. Just take the URL. Go to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever you mainly use. Do me a favor. Just tweet it out or whatever. Be like, oh, yo, check this out. I need some help, guys. I need some help. There's 2 of us here. Well, I mean, I think, so next Friday is going to be potentially the final Friday stream. Friday streams are tough. I think, people are typically out doing stuff at this time. So, I'm not, it's not like a guilt trip or anything. I just got to use my time wisely and make sure I'm on when people are going to watch. So, just do me a favor, share it out, and then make sure you're here next week if you want to continue doing this on Friday nights. I'm thinking of changing it to maybe Monday, Thursday. But this is not working out. So just share somewhere, and I would really appreciate that. So it doesn't take that long to share something. I think you probably could have done that by now. So I'm gonna go back into the video and watch the numbers.
Institution supports you. What do you mean? What major institution supports you? None. Great. Okay. Who supports Joe? UFC. That's powerful. Great. Because Democrats, Republicans, Independents, white, black, Hispanic, educated, uneducated, degree CEO, billionaire, millionaire, broke man, follows UFC. Right. Chappelle. What organization supports Chappelle? Comedy. Right. He's the king of comedy. Right. He is the GOAT of comedy right now. He's the guy at the top. It doesn't matter what anybody says. He is the GOAT. He's the guy that everybody talks to. What do you think you need to be doing if you were to strategically, because like you said, kickboxing is not that big of a space. Yeah.
He definitely.
Where could that?
He definitely needs some type of softer touch, or he needs to actually be able to sit down with Susan Wojcicki and all the people and be like, look, I am stopping the floodgates. There's a bunch of angry young men who are going to put out a lot of angry content if they are not able to listen to me articulate the same types of things much better than they are. So let's just strike a deal here. Leave me the fuck alone. You don't even have to monetize my shit. I don't care. Andrew Tate, definitely, please monetize my shit. But that's what needs to happen.
I think come in. I think you understand what question I'm asking.
Absolutely. And you're completely and utterly right. The reason I believe that I'm going to be okay is threefold. One, the Matrix has not completely and utterly deleted me because they can't.
Okay.
I'm still all over these platforms. I'm still all over.
There we go.
I never had a TikTok account anyway. They said, when I read the news that they banned my TikTok account, I said, I don't know which poor 15-year-old has an account deleted. I don't have one. I don't have a TikTok account. I don't want to
Someone from Hustlers University.
YouTube account, I don't have an Instagram account.
That's crazy, by the way. You didn't even have a TikTok
I don't
account.
have one. I didn't watch it.
Although you were going viral on TikTok.
It's destructive for the mind. It destroys your attention span. I don't have it on my phone. I'm already all over these platforms. The problem is, my biggest problem I was facing pre-ban was a lot of people going, Tate's smart, and I agree with him, but he's too far. The Matrix, the narrative, the enemy, him being dangerous. That's the only problem I had. Nobody said I was wrong. They said I was semi-paranoid. Then I was proved right. So now I've had so many people going, you know what, I love your content, but I thought that this part was wrong. Fuck, you were right. You were right. You were right. They proved me right about a whole bunch of things. And what happened was actually interesting. When I first got banned, for the first maybe only 6 hours, if you put up a new video with me, they delete it from YouTube. But now they stop because you can't ban everyone. You can't ban everyone. You can't ban thousands of accounts. You can't ban all the young men. You can't ban all the reaction accounts. You can't ban all the haters of mine who can't stop commenting on my videos. You can't ban Logan Paul talking about me for hours. You can't stop it. So now they tried the true tyranny and backpedaled. So I'm already still all over YouTube. But now I have a merit. I have a badge of he's telling so much truth that they banned it. Another thing they don't anticipate is that I've been talking about my ban for years. There's something they don't talk about. When I've been on every podcast saying I'm going to get banned for 3 years, they're going to get banned. Does that make me look smart as people? I told you what was going to happen. It didn't surprise anybody. It didn't surprise me. I've been talking about it for a very, very long time. Now, the public...
Yeah, but like, if anybody was doing what you were doing, inevitably, they're going to come after you. So that's not really like that big of a prediction. But
consciousness. Let me talk about this tonight. The reason I don't have high-level support yet is because the public consciousness is simple. The public consciousness, companies follow money. They know how much money I have. Imagine I were to endorse a crypto. Just imagine. I never would. And there's a bunch out there pretending they are me. They're not me. Imagine how I could turn a nothing into 100 billion market cap. I don't support these things because with cryptos, it's player versus player. Some people sell the top. Some people lose. It's normal. I don't want any of my people to get scammed. I don't support these things. They know how much money I'm worth. They're scared of the backlash. I have had, I won't say what type of company, but I've had at least 15 companies reach out to me, varying industries, sponsorships, payment processors, social media companies, etc., who have literally said to me, we're monitoring public sentiment. We see it changing in real time, and we'd like to discuss a sponsorship or some kind of deal, perhaps. Everyone's waiting to
in a
make
few
sure
months.
Because right now, 80% of the population knows bullshit. Once 90% or 95% of the population know that the backlash against me is bullshit, the amount of money that's offered to me to support things is going to be monumental. Already coming. Already there.
He's 1,000% right. There is no way that being uncancelable in this day and age doesn't make you a superstar.
There. People already love my ideas. You would not believe, I don't want to say the car brand, but there's a particular car brand. Think of the top 5 luxury car brands you can think of. There's a particular car brand. I bought one of their cars, a flagship model, 1.2 million. I bought it. They did the big unveiling a month ago. I couldn't attend. I was busy. I sent a friend of mine in place. I had a special card for this kid.
I'm too busy to attend the unveiling of your supercar. Goals.
The CEO of the company said, please, can you get into email? I emailed the CEO and said, listen, I know a lot of things going public, but we can't say this publicly. I just want you to know that we support you. But these are the CEOs of billion-dollar companies. They're all already on my side. They have to watch the clock.
But again, that's not new either. That's not new either. Every single person who has a real public canceling always will, they'll end up on places at least that I see because, I pay attention to shit. And inevitably, they always say, oh, there's so much support behind the scenes, but nobody will stick up for me, especially people who are in show business in Hollywood. More specifically, the stand-up comedians like, Chris D'Elia, Brian Callen, when they were going through all their shit. And I'm not taking a side. I'm just saying what happens, that they'll say, oh, there's so many people who are saying, I didn't agree with this, but you shouldn't have been banned or da, 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 da. But nobody will stand up and actually stand behind their words. Everybody's fucking scared. Everybody's fucking scared. And the reason everybody is so scared is because everybody else is so scared. So if everybody just stops bowing down and embodying this fear, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Stop creating the issue that you're so afraid of.
As they should. They have to march PR, public sentiment, as they should. That's changing in real time. This is why I talk about the redemption arc. It may take 6 months, it may take 2 years. The things I say are too powerful and too beneficial to the populace for it not to turn around when people say, Tate is a good thing. That's where all of that is coming. It is coming. And you're right. It is coming. Right now, as a company, you sit there and look at Tate and go, love him. You could get our exact audience. You could bring billions of dollars, but there'll be a backlash. It's changing. It's changing. I really believe in 6 months that will completely annihilate it. And we can talk about things from payment processors who've reached out, the car brands who've reached out, to all the people who've reached out and said, listen, please, we're monitoring. We're on your side. We're emailing you once a week. We're just talking to the board. We're monitoring social. Like it's all absolutely not really coming because they know I am a force for good. They know I have a huge contingent of people who believe in me and trust me. And I want to say this also publicly on camera. They also know my endorsement is extremely powerful because unlike Logan Paul, who sells crypto pump and dumps, making kids lose money, sells an energy drink full of sugar and trash, sells crap. They know I don't need money. So anything I stand up for and endorse is because I actually like it. You can come give me $100 million for some shit. I ain't gonna take it. That's trash. People who believe in me, believe in me. I will not compromise my integrity. The one thing people know when they look at me is I'm an integral person. I certainly have morals. Because I wouldn't have ended up in this fucking position the other way.
And that's not what integral means. Integral means like necessary. Integrity is, I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but that is where the word integrity comes from. But that's not what he's saying.
You look at me and go, if he endorses something, people are going to believe him. And I won't endorse something I don't believe, so they're right. So any brand who comes along and does business with me is going to make a bunch of money. Let's look at Rumble. Rumble were the brave ones. They stood up and they signed me. They come up and say, look, we believe in you. We believe in what you're saying. They signed me when no one else would. What happened to the stock price? 30%? A stock? In a bear market? In a recession? People are paying attention to this shit. This is all coming.
If only I knew, I totally would have bought a dick ton of Rumble stock.
Public sentiment shift, and it's shifting in real time. I have my own team monitoring social media comments in real time. At the height of the shitstorm, at the true height of the shitstorm was 50-50. It's currently 80-20.
I'm not in the stock market at all. I'm in crypto a little bit, but I don't know too much about that. What stocks or crypto coins do you guys have?
It's only going one way. They can't. The problem with the social media companies in the Matrix, they fired all their bullets. They can't start printing again on the misogynist. They can't get the Daily Mail to do a new story on how I'm dangerous. They've done it all. They've run out of ammo, and I'm still alive. They've emptied the clip, and it hurt me, but I got up. And now they're like, click, shit. What else are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to say about me now?
Can I tell you why?
Sure.
Because you talk about institutions being behind certain high-profile individuals. State status you referred to. Well, Joe Rogan, you couldn't cancel Joe because UFC's behind him, or Chappelle.
He was 12 to 24 months away. He wasn't there.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Yeah.
But the institution.
I mean, I would say Spotify is probably a bigger element for Rogan. I'm sure that being canceled and all that is part of that contract. There is no way you take the most successful podcast / YouTube channel. I mean, not the most successful YouTube channel, but the most successful podcast YouTube channel. There's no chance that you take the Spotify deal with the possibility of you being canceled. There's no way. There has to be a clause in there that, like, no matter what the fuck I say, you have to put my shit up. That brings up questions about the episodes that didn't make it. But that easily could have been on Joe's part saying, like, okay, I'll get rid of these, but in the future, it is what it is.
institution. It's not a formal institution, but it's certainly an institution. Is you've won the hearts and minds of young men across the planet.
Right.
And even if you get canceled on social media, you still have millions and millions of young men that's like, where's Tate? We want Tate.
And this is why they killed me early. They killed me because they knew I was going to.
So guys, since we're a little thin tonight, so I am gonna stretch this out until Monday. We're gonna finish out the hour. There's 17 minutes left of runtime. That does not include my commentary, of course. And then I'm gonna drop the link. So if you got something to say, come on up and say it, and then we will finish the rest of this interview on Monday.
This thing is, but the problem they don't understand is that inside of every single young man, there's a rebel. Whether it's the punk rock rebels, whatever it is, every single young man has a degree of rebel in him.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take their hero and martyr him, what does that do? It solidifies the rebel state. You wouldn't believe,
Again, going back to the notion that banning Andrew Tate is only going to rile up fans of Andrew Tate. If you think he's so dangerous, then why would you rile up his fans? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
17-year-old kids from Slovenia email me trying to give me their life savings, $2,500. Anything to help you. The amount of money they're trying to, I'm like, bro, I don't need money. Thank you. These kids do anything to keep me alive. Like it's true belief. It's true belief. That's why they tried to annihilate him. They thought we have to annihilate him now. He's going to get to a point where he can't be.
Send some of those motherfuckers over here. I'll take their fucking money.
Annihilate him. But it didn't work.
I use it.
It re-solidified it. I had to find other platforms. Perhaps
Fucking going broke over here.
But the hearts and minds are still there. There was a video that was on my Instagram of when I went to Slovenia. Slovenia. I've never been to Slovenia in my life. I turned up in the Chiron. I parked outside a hotel. I don't know if you guys seen it. There are 5,000 or 10,000 people outside the hotel screaming, "Top G, top G, top G." I'm in the room. These two chicks, they're looking at me and looking at each other like, I was like, "She's getting top G tonight." Like, top G, top G. They were standing there for hours. We had to call the police. Like, it's a different level of movement, and that's what they're scared of. And I also want to say this publicly to them. I believe they are watching. I'm not the enemy to the systematic powers. I'm actually very intelligent. You're saying earlier about Logan knowing his place. I'm not here to try and become. I'm not here to get suicide. I'm not here to do any of that. But I do have a huge contingent of young men who believe in me, and I do understand that the things I'm teaching them are good for them, and by extension, it will be good for society. I'm not trying to take over the world, right? I'm not trying to do that because I don't want to end up in a position where I'm against people who run the world. I'm not stupid, but their attack has
man.
So now they have to sit, and if they have a brain, analyze what they're going to do next. Saint status is coming one way or another. I truly and utterly believe that. I'm already having conversations with very important people. And Rumble were the first people who stood up to me and said, "You know what? You've got your back 100%, including financially." And they offered me a huge financial incentive. I said, "You know what? Don't worry about that. You keep the stocks. Don't worry about it. I don't need money." And when you don't need money, it also puts you in a very, very powerful position. It's very easy.
I would do anything. I would do anything to be in the position to just know what it feels like to not have to worry about money at all. Just give me 1 week. I'll come back to this shitty life. Just give me 1 week where that stress is just lifted and I can just be. I don't need a bunch of, you don't need to give me money. I just don't want to have to give anybody else money. It's a stress that so many of us deal with perpetually, day in and day out. And it's just a part of life. Yet there's an entirely different class of people who, in the same way, most of us are lucky enough not to have to worry about where's our next meal coming from. Like, I just cooked up some ground beef and rice and corn and beans and a nice little, wish I had some cheese and a little more veggies, but a nice little taco bowl for when I'm done with this. To have that level of comfort and stability around money, I can't even, and I mean, like, in a real sense, I do have that level of comfort. And shout out to my parents. Rare time I will give both of my parents credit equally. Shout out to my dad all goddamn day. But shout out to both mom and dad. I am the son of a doctor. I don't really, I mean, if some shit were to go down, it's not like my parents would let me just like be on the streets. So in a very real sense, I don't really have to worry about money. I mean, certainly I've been brought up not to be like, well, I can get away with just having free money and not doing shit in the world. So let me just steal all your money, mom and dad. That's not a life that I am comfortable with. And that's why I work like a normal person. But even still, that level of stress is sometimes insurmountable. And so for those of you who don't even have that safety net that I'm so graciously blessed with, what could that even feel like? What could that even feel like to not worry about money?
Very rare you find a man who has that much influence who doesn't want money. I want money. I believe in what you're saying. Let's do it. I believe in this. Let's do it. I don't need money.
I would love, oh my God. I would love to be able to just show the fucking world that I really am that guy. That if I had that money, that I really would put it towards the things that I think will help society. That will, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to get drippy. I'm going to cut off some of these fucking split ends and, keep the Jesus look, but get it a little cleaner. But get a better camera, get some better light. But after that, I want to be able to make a difference and just do something. You're useless when you're broke. I can't imagine. And that's the dream that keeps us all going. We're all chasing after that same shit. Except those of you who are chasing after pussy. And that is not going to end well for you.
I really believe, and perhaps you'll disagree with me because you have more money than I do. Once you get past a certain number of million, what's the thing? What are you going to buy? How many steaks can you eat? I don't gamble. I don't take drugs. You eat what is cheap. I have my house. I have 27 cars. They're not going to buy. I have diamond watches. I'm really, although I talk about making money, I talk like I'm a money-oriented person. I do that because you cannot truly escape from the matrix if you're poor because they use that as a control mechanism against you. Once you get past that, it doesn't matter if you have 50 million or
the link has been dropped. It is pinned in the chat. If you would like to come up, please use a name that I'm familiar with, or I mean, tell me in the private chat if you're using a different name, who you are. But come on up. Let me know what you think of all this.
Your life's the same. 400 million. Your life's the same. I don't need more money. It's not interesting. What's interesting to me is living a life that's true to God. I like being able to go to sleep at night knowing I'm happy with myself and who I am. I like knowing the things I say on podcasts are a good, genuine influence on the world. I like if something bad happens to me, which happens to everybody, I can go to sleep believing that karma is going to reward me because I'm a positive influence. I don't need to sell my soul for money. This is the thing that Logan does not yet understand. He still thinks selling his soul's worth it. It's not worth it for money. I don't need money. It's all about money for me on any level. It never will be. So I do believe Saint Status is coming. You have a very, very powerful point. And also, this is why you have a level of power control I don't yet have, right? You have a certain status and power. You're right. I don't yet have. But I do certainly not really believe it's coming just because of the feedback I've had. It's been absolutely monumental. On the day of my banning, I got 94,000 people took time out of their life to email me support. It's insane. It's insane. They haven't tricked anybody. They just proved me right.
You know what's the crazy thing about, in America, my dad says, if they want to see you fall in America, they'll do it. America loves seeing a personality fall. But what they love even more than that is redemption. It's a very big infatuation Americans have with that. So you think about Tyson coming out knocking everybody, boom, he loses to Buster Douglas. Oh my gosh, Buster Douglas is, and then now he's coming back up. They want to see the new Tyson. So there's a part of anybody that's going through the momentum, the highly exponential momentum Tyson experience, your experience. It doesn't happen too often. Most people, they grow 12%, 24%, they grow. Very few go like this. Yours was exponential. But the part that's exciting, most people.
If you do typically come on the panel and you don't plan on it, let me know.
You're not 55. You're not
like 40, if you don't plan on coming up tonight.
55. You're 35, 36 years old, which means the evolution that's most exciting by watching you is, which I hope you don't take your foot off the pedal. I hope you push the full throttle with the rumble. I hope you full on keep on with your content because you're going to evolve. Something's going to happen in your life the next 5 years. You're going to evolve. Something's going to happen by the time you're 45. You're going to evolve. And then you're going to talk about different things. And some perspectives are going to change. Some perspectives are going to adapt. That's what makes the journey of the hero exciting, because everybody learns as you're going through it.
Absolutely and utterly. And that's one of the most beautiful things about being human. And I was talking earlier about the redemption arc, and you mentioned earlier in my final video how I said I'm glad that this ban happened to me. And one of the reasons I was glad is because it gave me a chance to address the consciousness of the world. There were certain rumors about me which had spread like wildfire. And the unfortunate reality of the internet is, if there's a rumor about you, no matter how many times you dispel it, if there's more clicks and more interest in perpetuating the rumor, that's what people are going to do. And this
Boom. Boom. There's more people interested in perpetuating the rumor. Welcome to my good friend Trey. What's good, buddy? Good to
My
see
guy, IndianJesus. How are we today?
pretty well, which these Friday streams are a little light. I think we might move to twice a week.
Hear me out. Maybe we change up Fridays. Maybe it's more. Well, nah. I would have to flush that out. I'll put it in the Discord.
Well, that's exactly. I was thinking right along that, and I was like, okay, maybe Friday needs to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more like interactive. So I do plan. I was gonna do that guy that Sneeko's always the street talking dude who always he has the tiny microphone. What country is the Queen of England from? And I'm like, Africa. Yes. So I think next Friday I was gonna do that on Monday. I anticipated on finishing on finishing this today, but we're only halfway through this. So this is gonna be Monday's show. There's some other shit that I'll do for Wednesday, and then next Friday I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get extra drunk. We're gonna be extra silly. We're gonna have extra fun, and if people ain't here, then I'm thinking maybe Monday, Thursday, but. That's all behind the scenes shit. Nothing people care about. I'm interested in your opinion of our good friend Andrew Tate. You dropped some.
So my comment earlier, I tried to fit everything in without having to do like a double comment, because I know how you get sometimes. Because it would have been an incomplete thought in the first comment. But
you call me stupid?
No. I just know, like, sometimes when you start like looking at our comments, you be like, these idiots.
No, that's just when revilement just doesn't take the time to spell things right. And then he said he doesn't care, and then he left. So
yeah, you know what's funny? I actually jumped in the stream like right in the middle of your rant about it. It was hilarious.
Well, I mean, because he left? You're in Discord. He hasn't said anything in the Discord. I was like, yo, are you good? Like, we're good, right? Like, I mean, I gone at you hard, and this is what it is. He knows what it is. I mean, was I too harsh? Was I not fair? Was I?
Because I didn't go back to the beginning of it. I literally popped right in the middle of like you just ranting.
So real quick. So he said, I don't like Tate, but I disagree with his ban. It's sad. All this culture, cancel culture shit are the same people who preach about free speech. I'm saying, not quite. It used to be that the left was all about free speech, but certainly not anymore. It's the left that's on banning this, that, and the other thing. And then Tate was talking about how you have to go through shit. You have to go through hardship in order to become a good man. Then he was going off on all that kind of stuff about how you can't be a good man unless you've gone through some type of trials and tribulation, all that stuff. And Ron said, I had nothing but hardship in my entire life, and I'm a terrible man. So I was like, why do you think that? Because I'm nothing a man should be, or how people think a man should be.
But
me just not giving a flying fuck about other people's views. Or so I was like, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from becoming the man that you want to be?
Funny? You know what's funny about that comment? I used to have that same like thought at like 21, 22. And like, It's just me. Like, who cares? So, like, I'm me. And then like, I remember like I lost the job actually, like, because I like, I don't know, I felt like my like, at that time, I really didn't understand what pulling rank at a job really was and how it goes.
Mhm.
So like that was like my first time that somebody actually like pulled rank on me type shit, and I felt the
Listen,
way.
little bro.
Yeah, like I felt the way about it. So like I look, he went off, and I lost my job. And my mom was like, "See, that's what happens when you're you." And I was like, I get it. I get it. So like I kind of understand that, but I think going through hardships, I think it does help you grow as a man, but it also can completely break you.
Definitely. I mean, hey, too much of any good thing is not good. And even if we're saying that bad things are good because they lead to good things, then you still don't want to live like a shitty life just so
Yeah.
that you've been through some shit. I
Like-
definitely agree with that. But
like-
I think the larger point is that without some type of hardship, you can't be good. And again, I don't know if you saw this part, but he said there's a difference between being a good man and being good at being a man.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean? It means you can be a good man in the sense that you are a moral being, but that's not the same thing as being good at being a man, embodying what it is
Okay.
to be a man.
The moment you
And-
said it like that, it made sense.
It's a pretty good line, right? And I was like, whoo, let me do
'Cause
that one more
there's-
time.
I'll tell you, as a father, boy, I'll tell you, learning fatherhood on the fly is fun and scary at the same time.
I bet it is.
It's but yeah, that actually that says that's a lot in just a little bit of words. But I think the problem is, and my only issue with Tate just a little bit is, I guess because I understand Tate.
Right? It's a perfect case of the let's call it the Kevin Samuels effect, where it's like, I know, I get it why you hate him, but I can't.
You're right.
I can't. I'm on his side. Like,
Yeah.
when he's wrong, I'll tell him he's wrong. When he's wrong, I'll call him out, but he's not.
Yeah, and I think the problem has become, and one thing I am tired of when everybody be like, it's only on the left is freedom of speech wrong. Like, it's not a good thing. I think it's on the right too. I think there's a certain section, like if you actually find it, not even find it, because I keep bumping into it actually. This Little Mermaid stuff has exposed so much. But you
So
see,
speak on that. Speak on that. What, I'm interested on your perspective on all that.
Oh, the Little Mermaid thing?
Mhm.
And I mean this in the nicest way possible because I do have white friends. But white people go white people. And we do it too, so let me not say it like that. But I find like, okay, the fact that we took a cartoon character who's based off of a mythological tale from another country that they changed. So they changed like the story to fit what they wanted it to fit as the Disney fairy tale, but it was something different. And y'all are basically mad because we took a cartoon and put a black girl that can sing. Because at the end of the day, Little Mermaid is a musical. They needed someone who could actually sing. So granted, you could have found a white girl that could sing, but we also have this little black girl right here that can sing almost good or better than any of them. So at that point, to me, it didn't matter. It's a cartoon. Like comic books, all that shit doesn't really matter to me. They're cartoons. They're fake. They're fiction.
Right.
Like, so why does that matter? What irritates me is why is there so many goddamn white people in Egypt movies? Like,
That's a good point. They up until let's just say in the up until at least Aladdin, but definitely beyond that, we just acted like Egypt was white people.
You would legitimately think like we can even call them Middle Easterns. We don't even have to call them.
Oh yeah, I mean that's exactly what they are.
Exactly. So the fact that you won't even show Middle Eastern people as Egyptians. You'll show white people as Egyptians. But you're fucking mad because Commissioner Gordon in a Batman movie is a black man. Who gives a fuck?
Wait, what movie was Commissioner Gordon a black man?
In the newest one. Have you not seen the newest one?
I did. I don't remember. Maybe I was fucked up. I don't remember. But by chance, have you seen Abin Preach did a video on this today?
Yeah, I was actually sneaking watching it at work.
All right, so I wanna because I generally it's definitely in bad taste to be like, oh, they made her a blackie. I ain't seeing that shit. Like, obviously, that's straight up racist. But they, Abin Preach really gave an interesting perspective that I was not expecting.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But you're talking about the perspective of like why we just can't get original characters for ourselves.
Essentially, but larger than that being that, like, yes, definitely that, like, why can't we have our own characters? Why are we borrowing from white people? But the way Preach said it, and I could actually, I remember kind of where he was when he was saying it.
I've been Preach are hilarious. Even when I disagree with them, they're hilarious.
All right, let's see. I think it's right at the end. Let's just see what we got.
I'm not even. What do you mean? It was not part of the movie? What are we doing? What are we doing? What do you mean? A lawyer twerking? You never seen that? But let's know what you guys think. We want to hear from you.
Nope. Not that far back.
I've
Here.
Put that shit in She-Hulk.
All the reboots that they well, last one says like it feels whenever they did all the reboots that they did and they do all the versions that they do, and after that they gave the role to a black person. We did that. We said that already before. But we'll say it again. When you do that, to me.
Hold on.
I was about to say he's talking way too fast for me.
After that, it feels like crumbs.
Let me back that up one more time.
Yeah, no, hold on. Last thing I want to say is that, well, last thing I want to say is like, it feels whenever they did all the reboots that they did and they do all the versions that they do, and after that they give the role to a black person. We did that. We said that already before, but we'll say it again. When they do that, it to me, after that, it feels like crumbs. That's what I was trying to say. It feels like crumbs. Like we're getting the played out leftover of something that was used and abused, and then after that we get our part. Whereas whenever you get an original story, we get the full meal.
Yes. I also say this.
Oh, hold on. I'm curious on your thoughts on that part specifically. That, if you're taking a white character, a traditionally white character, and race swapping, that it's giving black people the crumbs. Because of course, the original animated Disney Little Mermaid is going to be way more enjoyed over the course of humanity than this remake that's coming out, no matter how good it is.
Oh yeah, I 1000% believe that sentiment. It's something I echo myself. Part of me is just petty, so that's why I kind of just push the narrative just to be petty a little bit. But 1000%, and that's one thing that we kind of always say. And it's one of those things where they go back to, see, he's just complaining about everything. But
what do you mean by that?
Okay, so where we're like, hey, why can't we get original characters? A lot of people were like, why can't we just get our own original characters? That was a lot of black people sentiment. It's always been a lot of black people sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever we do, when we say representation, we mean like original stories.
Right.
We're not meaning we just want to see black people.
Right.
We're meaning like, we want original, we want our stuff. But when other people hear we say we want representation, they think we just want to be there. Like, oh, you're just complaining, you're everywhere. They put you in everything. They put you in these little remakes, these little reboots. Like, what are you complaining about?
Right.
And it's like,
so take that notion. Notion. Do you have to be black to hold that notion? Or is it possible that a white person, even a white conservative, could hold that exact position about black representation?
Like, what do you mean? I'm a
that could a white conservative person take that position that we want to be represented in the stories, not just putting a black face on the screen. There's a difference. Black Panther is a black story. That's why it was so good. Like, it was a good ass movie. It was well received. It was it checks all the boxes. I mean,
so
that wasn't.
I'm sorry. Are you more so saying like they agree with us, like they want their own representation, like we want our own representation?
No, I'm saying that it is possible that while there are definitely people who are like, I don't want this one, I want this one. I had this out. I don't take two. I don't want this one, I want this one.
Yeah.
There's definitely people who are of that ilk, let's say. But I think more often the people who are complaining about this are, in fact, saying this is demeaning to Black people. This is not a good way to treat Black people. This is not the way. This is not the way. And in the same way you're saying, we don't just want a black face on the screen. We want black stories. I think a lot of just people, just in general, white, black, conservative, liberal, whatever. I think a lot of people in general understand that sentiment. And they're like, this is icky. Like, I can see that you're just trying, hey, Black people, look, we made a thing with you for Black people because she's Black. Like, so, I think a lot of people feel that.
I would definitely agree with you. I think the issue is we get, and it's one of those things I speak about a lot, is that we always seem to find a negative. So the fact that there's people like, hey, why can't they get their own original stories? That's trash. We can scroll right down 2 more people and go see who the fuck put this nigger in this movie. And so now we're looking like, see, just for that, fuck you. And so I think that becomes part of the issue where we'll see people who like, all right, y'all are doing too much. Like, it's a cartoon character. Y'all could have found a white girl that sings. Let them get their own story. Let's make their own story. Then there's motherfuckers like, well, this is another woke Disney agenda who wants to shove it down my throat. And it's like, yo, it's not that deep. It's a cartoon character.
Yeah, like, I think so. Wait. So you're saying that cartoons cannot be, cartoons cannot have the weight of these cultural issues. They can't carry that weight. And so inherently, by being fictional stories,
no. So I won't necessarily say. Okay, wait. Explain it a little bit, because maybe. So
the point is, so maybe the point is better illustrated by saying, like, I wish I could find the meme. Would you be okay with a remake of Black Panther where Ryan Gosling played T'Challa?
Okay, I see what you're saying. But okay, so I the only reason why I thought that question was a little nonsensical, just me personally, is because it's a cultural based it's a cultural based cartoon. Granted, you could have made it a white person. There's white people in Africa. They could have been in South Africa.
Wait, you're saying Black Panther is a culturally based cartoon, or Little Mermaid was?
Black Panther. So I think that's what makes that one a little bit more different versus like Miles Morales and Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So just to play devil's advocate, what do you think about the argument of ginger representation? That was a big part of the Abba and Preach video, and there's part A and part B to that section, that question. So is this erasing gingers? And then the second part of that question is kind of answering the first and saying, because whatever her name is, because Ariel in this story does have red hair. Why? Why make her black and not keep her, but still change her hair?
So here's my ignorance, and this is just solely my pure ignorance. I had no clue that like gingers considered themselves like separate. I just put them all under the category of white people. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, this is a dead serious ignorance. I had no clue.
I gotta find this clip because it's so funny in this.
I had no clue it was a real issue. Like, when Albert said it, I was like, wait, redheads don't consider themselves like white people or something? Granted, I've never really met too many black people that are redheads, so I don't know if that's like a cultural thing or what. I've only met white people that are. So
real quick. Sorry to cut you off. We gotta.
And look, I rag on gingers. You guys know me. There's no beautiful ginger people out there. Yada yada yada. Okay. Speaking of which, remember I said there's no beautiful ginger people out there.
Mm-hmm. Remember my boy who was here the other day and his brother, who's my best friend for a long time, both very ginger.
Well, it's a bunch of gingers disagreed.
Of course, they send you nudes.
And all they did was reinforce my opinion.
Said send you nudes?
They send you pictures?
No, I looked at their pictures. They had a profile. I was like, yeah, I agree with what I said.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
This guy had a video on it.
I am disheartened, angry, and quite frankly disappointed. This morning, I logged into YouTube.com and decided to watch a video by my favorite comfort creators, Abba and Preach.
Comfort creators?
And in that video, Abba said this.
I'm going to go with contestant 3. I don't really know my reason. I just think number 3 first.
I would have kept her.
There are no beautiful ginger people.
Sorry, I just had to play that part. But they do make the I think more poignant argument that if you're going to race swap, then changing her hair is, I mean, I don't know another word, but problematic. Why doesn't she have her natural hair color? You know what I mean?
Oh wait, her hair is red in the movie?
Yeah, her hair is red in the movie, and her hair is where the fuck did I just? Oh.
So the only reason why I'm laughing is because, trust me, I live in the hood, and I've seen enough girls with red hair that they could still play Ariel. They just died. What? I've seen enough girls just dye their hair red in the black community that they can play Ariel still. Then.
Yeah, you can't really see it here, but again, they make a pretty good point. So let's fuck it.
Online, I thought it was very interesting. Artificial intelligence scientist. All right.
Hey,
I'm sorry to cut you off real quick.
Good.
So, quick question: are they upset because she kept red hair?
I don't think they're upset. I think it's just curious. It's just curious because if you're saying, okay, we're going to race swap this character so that we can be more representative of black people, why change her hair? It's just I don't think it's anger. It's just what are you really trying to do here?
I didn't mean it like anger. So they're saying, so because she changed her, why didn't she change the hair color to a different color? Is that what the question is?
No, why did they? She has black hair in real life. The character of Ariel that she's playing has red hair. Just like in the cartoon, she had red hair, but she was a white person with white hair, red hair. And so it's just curious that you would choose to change the skin color because that has weight in that has social weight. But the hair color, it's just like what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we trying to represent people? Are we trying to take the story as it was and recreate it just in line? It's just it's screwy. It doesn't hit you as odd.
The only reason why I'm going to say no is because I've seen enough black women dye their hair red or dye their hair literally that color that it doesn't. It looked just perfectly like a regular person. Like I would have known that the hair wasn't red until you said something. So I guess I can understand, but then I think part of that is just nitpicking at that point, that you just really want to have a problem with it. And that's just me personally, though.
I mean, it's definitely getting into the minutia of it, for sure. But I think I don't think it's in the same way. I don't think it's fair to say that everybody who's talking about it is automatically racist. I know you didn't say that, but there's a lot of sentiment about that. Even though there are racist people talking about it and being racist about it, it doesn't mean that because you're like, hey, what's with the I saw the Little Mermaid. I know. I think, like we see what you're trying to do, and it's fine. But again, it comes back to the question: why are you? This is all being ham-fisted, and saying, and we were talking earlier or on another stream about like affirmative action and all that kind of stuff. It all comes together. It's like this is not good for society.
And yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And again, I think part of the problem is, and it's us. Like when I say us, I mean black people. We choose to just look at the ignorant racist motherfuckers and just choose to be petty to them instead of actually listening to the regular people. So I think that part definitely falls on us, because there are enough people that have our sentiments. And then I also think part of the problem is so many people are raging against the machine that. So hear me out.
No, I'm listening.
So there are so many people that's raging against the machine that either side, like left or right, they're both raging against the right machine, the left machine, that it gets to the point of whatever side does anything, there's going to instantly be a blow up, to the point that I think these companies do it just so the other side can double down and support more.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's no question. There's no question that part of the reason that they race swapped Ariel was not for representation, but it was for the publicity that a race swap will get. I mean, isn't this being put out by Amazon? Really? Do we think that Jeff Bezos gives a fuck about what color the people in his movies are?
Yeah, he couldn't give two flying fucks about what color Ariel was.
But they'll tell you that because they they're diverse and they have representation, that they're better than XYZ. Then they're better than this company or that company. And that is the culture war. That's the whole thing, is that there is a battle for the values that we hold, whether we do hold values or we just go by what people feel from moment to moment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way at this point. But it's the thing that irritates me, and it's just like so many of us claim that we know what they're doing, but yeah, we keep letting it get us.
How do you mean?
Like, there's so many people, like, if you listen, like even with us, we know, and like there's like, okay, people like us, we kind of know and we stay out of it. We kind of just watch from afar and laugh. But there's enough people who also claim to know what's going on and claim to know that they understand what's going on, but then they fall right into the mob when something happens that they don't like.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. That's I mean, oh man, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
You know, like my grandfather used to always say, common sense ain't so common.
That's why I'm trying to resurrect the second coming of common sense.
Yeah, my granddad he's a hoot.
So, I mean, I don't really feel like watching any more of this Andrew Tate right now.
No, I can only stop So much Andrew at one
Yeah,
time.
but I'm not ready to hop off yet. So I'm gonna roll through my my playlist of videos that whenever I'm watching videos, anything that seems kind of something good for, like whenever, like now, I'll add it to that playlist. So I'm gonna go for a little longer. I'm gonna watch some videos. If you would like to stay up here, then you are more than welcome. If not, then just stay in the chat and don't leave me alone.
No,
All right.
I'm down. I'll stay with you. I'm just playing Madden and talking to you at this point.
All right, let's see what we got. Videos to react to. Oh, yeah, this'll do us some fun. Oh, all three of these will be interesting. Okay.
Oh, what is this?
So this is Frozen. So, well,
Title of this.
So this is Rich Cooper, fucking host of the Entrepreneurs in Cars channel, another red pill channel. I really like this guy because he is outside of the manosphere. He's kind of doing his own thing, and he definitely has he's definitely a red pill guy. This is definitely a red pill channel, but he stays away from the drama aspect of it. So this is Rich reacts to real life polyamorous couples.
For those of you listening, is man and poly.
And so Trey, if you got something to say, just start talking, or just call my name or whatever.
I got you.
Amorous relationship with wife, other man charged with assaulting the other man. This is a recent story from about a week or so ago in September.
About a week ago!
This is in Washington. A man polyamorous relationship was charged with assault and unlawful possession of a firearm. This is what often happens. Where is the story? He said there had been tension. So here it is. He said the three of them decided to go to bed. As they were laying in bed, so this is a woman and two men, Baston got up and said,
It's always a one woman and a bunch of dudes with this polyamory shit. You rarely see like the Andrew Tate type of polyamory. You rarely see that. And it's so bad when he does it. But let's see how they treat this.
he wasn't doing any more than left the room. The wife says she followed him out of the living room, which is when he pointed a gun at her head and said that when the men came into the living room and stepped between her and Baston, when the man, so this is the extra dude. She says Baston told the man, take one more step and I'll kill you. The man said he was able to convince Baston to put the gun down after pleading for reasoning. Anyway, so this guy's in custody now. There's criminal charges. This is just one story of a few that I'm going to show you. So it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Okay. It's pretty stupid. Here's another one. Now I've covered this story.
What did I say? Look at this shit. 4 dudes? 4 dudes?
All right, hear me out. Hear me out. She's saving the incel culture. We should not fight her.
She's saving the incel culture.
Look at the dudes that's around her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any of them not being incels?
I'm just questioning whether this is it feels like a lateral move to me. I mean, like, does this guy seem happy to you?
Not at all.
Like,
none of them do.
He's holding his own hand. He's holding his own hand. This guy is holding her hand. This guy is holding this hand.
Wait a minute.
Star Wars is over here just hanging out. And motherfucker's holding his own hand.
So the guy is reaching across him and holding her hand?
Yeah, this is this dude's arm here going down, and that's her hand.
That's tucked under his
Underneath,
arm.
yep. And that's her shoulder. It goes underneath.
How old is she?
I think they say it in the thing. I don't remember, but let's find out.
A couple years ago, there's an original version of this where they just start talking about this woman and her 4 dudes. Again, never alpha males. They look, fat boy over here with the Star Wars t-shirt. She's holding this guy's hand. He doesn't look very pleased here with his hands crossed in his lap.
Yep.
This is the 5 couple poly. It's always almost always one chick and a bunch of nerds, and they're taking care of the house, paying the bills, paying the mortgage, sharing a little bit of time with her. Maybe they play.
Like I'm not like no homo, but this is the most normal looking one, and he's holding his own hand. I mean, he's still kind of, you know.
Well, I can't really see the one at the end, but he looked the most normalist. The one at the far end, he looks like the guy that doesn't know how to take a hint at the mall.
This guy or
yes,
yeah, they all
looks like he can't
all
take a
four
hint.
of them look like that. He looks relatively normal.
I think
we got Wesley in the building. Wesley, welcome. Wesley's got a lot to say. Let's see. I think I can say all this out loud. I'm gonna take on. So hang on. I'm gonna try to embody you, Wesley. I have shut that none shall open the peace from Jesus to all similitude. You are now numbered, and that is the punishment to the strange apparel. Enjoy being branded. Omni. Last paycheck is $32,000, $32,523. Your last payday, $32,523 crypto money only. You must be physically branded a slate with laser printed barcode Omni to collect. You are fired. The vision from Jesus is forever shut to similitude. If you are not a similitude, I shall open the peace to you again when I choose. The name of God is Jesus. Yay! Welcome, Wesley. Glad to have you as always. Wow. Anyway, yeah. Any thoughts on Wesley or this shit before we dive back in?
Wait, so is Wesley saying his last paycheck was 32 bands? Because I feel like he tried to flex on you a little bit at the end. That's not very Christian-like.
No, he's saying my last paycheck will be $32,000, which, hey,
so
I'll take it.
Wesley, I'll say this. Your heart is not in the right place. Your mind is not in the right place. And if you are trying to preach a Christian message, you are definitely doing it the wrong way. As a guy who definitely does not walk the true Christian lifestyle, but definitely does not put anyone in hell, I don't think you have any right to step on here and judge this man, nor do I. And that is between him and whatever God we choose to believe in when it's time to meet our Maker. And that's it.
Amen, brother.
Yo, people be wild.
What?
People be wild. Like, who just hops in the chat and goes off?
Yeah. You saw the shit with Henry, right? From Darshan's channel?
Yeah. Like, okay, so hear me out. I never understood, because I'm not a commenter guy.
The irony. Is anybody here? Whatever. Anyway, you were saying you're not a what guy?
I'm not a guy that normally comments on anything. Like anything I watch, you have to say some of the most asinine shit for me to actually comment.
Oh well, thanks.
Well, no, not like you. For me, with you, it's more of a conversation. But I never understood people who literally get in the comments and be like, I can't believe I watched this 22-minute video, you piece of effing shit. And it's like, bro, you could have just clicked out the video. Like the moment,
right? Like you spent more time writing the comment than you could have done an infinite amount of things in the time that it took you to write that comment.
I shouldn't have to click read more on a negative rant. Like, I should not have to click read more on a negative rant. Like, fam, you could have just easily, like, the moment Fresh them or Andrew them get to talking about some shit I'm not into, I'll be like, all right, I'll holler at you guys later. See you next video.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Even if I do think they're a jackass, I click off the video and be like, that jackass.
Yeah, but these people not only have nothing else in their lives, but they simultaneously believe that they are making a difference.
I put
Which is
them
just pathetic.
like I put them in with the same people who just comment on the Instagram model videos like you're so hot. Oh my god, you're so hot. Like,
Will you marry Bob's and Virgin? It is very pretty.
Yeah.
Oh.
So have you ever looked in your girl's DMs? Like not on some like I'm trying to catch you cheating, but just like I wonder what's the wild shit niggas be saying to you.
Last time I had a girl, DMs weren't really like that. So like if you had any DMs, you'd be like, yo, who the fuck is this? So no.
Yo,
But
well,
I
like me and my daughter's mom, for some reason, we used to just literally sit between her Twitter and Instagram like DMs and just be looking at so, yo, dudes are all right. I kind of understand some of the shit women be saying because these dudes be wilding. Like one dude sent my girl a message. It was like, "Hey, you're so beautiful," and she was like, "Oh, thank you. I have a boyfriend." He was like, "I don't give a fuck, you fucking slut." It's like, whoa, please.
Whoa. Yeah, that's so we're talking about the incel community. I mean, definitely that is some incel behavior.
You know, has your girl ever got like has a dude ever just random sent the thing to your girl?
Like his dick?
Yes.
Not that I know of.
My girl
But
used
I'm
to
sure
send
it's
it all the
happened.
time.
Like
Like,
my
yeah,
college
dudes would just
girlfriend.
my girl be like, "Oh, dudes would just send me random thing pics," and I'm like, "Well, whatever." And so one day her phone like dinged, and I was up. I was like, "Hey, your phone dinged," and she was like, "Oh, just check it, see who it is." So I clicked the message, and it just pops up, and he's like, "I thought you might like this, sir. Hey, guy,
Sir,
I video
pardon
called
me.
him. I video called him."
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely there was a funny story about my college girlfriend. One of my actually, I was trying to think. It wasn't. I was trying to think whether it was my boy Akon, but it was one of his friends, somebody I met through him. I was in college, and it was like the first week of my sophomore year, right? First week of my sophomore year. And I'm hanging out with, a bunch of people, we smoke and we're doing whatever we do. And then this guy, Sam, who came for whatever reason, came to New Jersey to go to college from St. Croix. Lives in St. Croix, came to Jersey, and cool dude. But he's like, hold on, let me do the full reenactment. He this is the time remember, this is like when Facebook was in its infancy, and every girl between the ages of 14 and 25 had a digital camera. That's the age we're talking about. 2010. So we're hanging out, and he comes up, and he instead of blank piece of paper, he has a photograph, like a picture, and he's like, "Yo, I saw this. I took this off this girl's dorm room. Look how hot she is." I'm like, bro, that's my girlfriend. He's like, "Oh, well, I didn't do anything." I was like, "I know you didn't do anything, bro. Trust me, I would know if you did some shit." But I don't know. I just thought that's just a humble brag that I had a girlfriend at one point. But I am super interested to see where this goes. So let's dive back in.
Hey, let me drop out real quick. That will be a dad for you.
You're breaking up. Say again.
So let me drop out real quick. A dad for a second.
All right, you are welcome back whenever. So yeah, I'm not. Now there's nobody here. So I don't know. I'm gonna watch this video. If you guys are enjoying it, talk to me. If you're not, then don't, and I'll leave when it's done.
together when she's out, banging the alpha males on the weekend, because that's usually what ends up happening. They end up taking care of the house and the kids while she goes off and porks some alpha male, which I don't know that she'll get one or not, but situation. This is where we're at. Okay. Yeah, Moff makes a good point. She's 20 in the story, but she looks 40. Now
she's 20. Trey was asking about how old she was. I don't know how well you can see, but she looks at like 40. Maybe not 40, but bad. She looks bad.
Follow-up story. Okay, this is a follow-up story where they talk about her being pregnant. I'm not going to go through all of this. You can look it up. This is her and the biological father of the baby. This is her holding her stomach, although it's difficult to tell that she's pregnant in that photograph. This is the geeks playing cards at the table, I guess on card night. So you get an idea. Now, they don't continue following this story, but I want you to look at this guy's face over here. Let's see if I can zoom it in a little bit.
That same dude.
Anyway, let's go.
And the caption says,
the
caption on the video. Can you see this? The caption on the video that's in the article says, so who's the father of the baby? I don't know. What are these motherfuckers?
This guy's face. This dude over here is the same guy in this picture over here. What's the title say?
Oh!
Again, this story here is about a polyamorous Florida woman with 4 boyfriends is pregnant. Follow-up story. Actually, what's the date on this? December 6, 2019. Follow-up story. Jacksonville man jailed in abuse of 5-week-old baby in 2020, March 2020. This is the same dude over here. This geek over here. Okay. They don't talk much about it. Let's see if they cover the poly part of the story. The girl's grandmother caught him doing this. Distraught. Oh, the horror.
Oh my God. Can you imagine being an elderly woman and walking in on your grandson doing something inappropriate? What did it say? A 5-year-old, a 2-year-old? Something like that? Jesus fucking Christ.
Investigation, broken ribs, child protection. Child had a minimum of 3 attacks. Baby's mother called Florida Department of Children and Families. But nothing mentioning the complexity of the poly relationship in this article. Just green-haired dude beats the crap out of the kid that's not his. Again, this is him over here. So that's a couple of examples of how these things generally unfold. Now I'm going to throw my earbuds in because there's a video that I'm going to play for you of this 4-way couple. There's no kids involved in this one yet, but they're talking about it. I'm going to offer some feedback on what I think is going on because this is just insanity. Share your wife and your finances with your wife's boyfriend. What do we got here in the chat? Rich, why do you guys tolerate this absurd behavior? I would never. only people with low options to tolerate this sort of behavior. So Jad says pure cuckoldry. All right, so let's throw up this next one in the stream here and get some audio going. Share screen tab. How a poly foursome. So the title of this is from CNBC, and it says how a poly foursome manages their money.
Oh, Jesus.
So let's see what we got here.
Why would you even want to invite that many people into your finances? That's crazy.
This. So I've paused it over here at the 20-second mark. We've got Kyle, who's married to Rachel, and we've got Ashley, who's married to Yair. Kyle is a mixologist, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's a fancy word for bartender. Rachel is a marriage and family therapist, and Ashley is a culinary director. I don't know what that means. And Yair is a private chef. Now, these two over here own the house. These two moved into their house, and all 4 of these people share finances in the house and each other. I think with the exception of the men. I think she plays with everybody, and the dudes don't with each other. But anyway, so let's play this and see what we got here from the top.
Who's here right now? There's one person here. I'm just curious. Who are you?
Nighttime patties, I guess you could say. Like my sleeping pill. I have my eye mask. My evening lip.
Well, he speeds shit up too, so we'll put that back down for the one person who's here who won't tell me who they are.
Mask. Sometimes I put snacks in. Yeah, sometimes there are snacks. Sometimes
totally normal, right? Let's go through our bags and talk about what's in them with our snacks and blah blah blah. Of course, that's how they're going to kick off the story because they want you to think that this should be normalized in society.
There are sex toys.
It is normalized in society. I'm sorry, Mr. Cooper, but that ship has sailed. The notion of not having this be normal in society, that ship has sailed.
This is Kyle, Rachel, Ashley, and Yair. Kyle's married to Rachel, and Ashley to Yair.
Wait a minute. I need to hear that again. I don't.
This is Kyle, Rachel, Ashley, and Yair.
So yeah, so we have a bartender, a family therapist. Would you go to a marriage therapist who was in a foursome marriage? So we got 3 people who worked in a restaurant together, and this bitch who was like, I'm just gonna take over the whole shit.
Kyle's married to Rachel, and Ashley.
So yeah, so the therapist is married to the bartender. Interesting.
Yeah. 2 married couples in a non-monogamous relationship. A family of 4.
Okay.
Slave schedule is interesting. They go typically on a rotation.
So you're going to notice in this video that this Rachel one, now there's always a leader in every group, every tribe. There's always somebody that's more
Nope.
the leader role, the alpha role. You're going to notice that she does all the talking. She's the one that collects the money from all the people, and a few of them sort of chime in from time to time. So this would be I suppose, the ringleader that orchestrated, most of this.
Meaning, like, if it's from my point of view, let's say tonight's with Kyle, then the next night is with Ashley, and then the next.
Really? You can't just like give me a 1 in the chat so I know who was here?
Night's with Yair, and then next night's with Kyle, and next night's with Ashley, and next with Yair, and like kind of rotate that way.
And the title of this
Is it Wesley? Wesley, is that you still here?
How to Manage Finances in a Non-Traditional Relationship. All right, educate us, CNBC. Let's see what you got.
We met at the very
CNBC, so you know it's legit.
very, very beginning of COVID. We were all members of a
The very beginning? That was 2 years ago. You're in a 4-way marriage? Sharing finances? In 2 years?
positive organization in New York.
Oh, that makes sense.
At the very, very, very beginning of COVID, we were all members of a sex positive organization in New York City. There was a
Shocking, it's New York City.
pull in me to message Yair. It was very clear that we had a lot in common and hit it off. And within 48
Hang on a sec. This guy's a chef and he's making like yellow mustard sandwiches. I don't know about that story. Anyway.
No, that was the. Oh yeah, no, that was the chef.
hours, I was talking with Ashley, who messaged me.
What are you doing? Who puts ketchup and mayo and mustard on a regular ass 1 piece of bread sandwich? That is a wet ass sandwich. That's gross.
I thought she was absolutely gorgeous, and then was so excited. After talking with Ashley for a day, I realized that she and Kyle were like 2 peas in a pod. So I asked these 2 if I could bring Kyle into the group chat. We started a group chat of 4 people, and literally from that day, we have not stopped talking, and now we live together and share a home.
That's healthy. We just have not stopped talking, and now we all just live together and share finances, and it's all gonna be fine.
It is illegal in all 50 states.
All right, let's keep going. I have a feeling we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg yet.
To be married to more than one person. But according to a study published in 2021, 1 out of 5 people in the U.S. has engaged in a consensually non-monogamous relationship at some point during their life.
Non-monogamy is just having either more than one partner or being open to having more than one partner. You don't have to be practicing it to be it. We share finances, we share a home, we share a dog and a cat, and all this.
And partners.
And partners. A lot of things we'll share, like that jacket. This jacket. No, this one. This one is you. It's fun to be able to put on something that like I would never buy for myself, or frankly even pick up off the rack. And she's like,
That's a good reason to get into a 4-way marriage. Is like we can share clothes, unlike friends.
I won't look it on me. I'm gonna try it on.
Did they say how old they were? I don't know what. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, she's the one doing all the talking so far.
And there are some things where I'm like, no, this is an actually only garment.
All 4 of their incomes go into an account, and those are the funds they use to pay for everything together.
I think that if we took a look at it, there would be more clothing than perhaps we are front of mind aware of.
So that's this dude's way of saying you ladies are spending way too much of our money on clothing. So you're sharing your
Listen
wife
to-
and you're sharing your finances. And
Listen to how he has
clothes.
to. Shit, hold on. Listen to how he has to express his desire for them to not spend his money on clothes.
His way of saying
I think that if we took a look at it, there would be more clothing than perhaps we are front of mind aware of.
So
front of mind. We're spending money on more clothing than is more front of mind aware of.
So that's this dude's way of saying you ladies are spending way too much of our money on clothing. So you're sharing your wife and you're sharing your finances and you're buying clothes for somebody that's not your wife in a house that you may or may not own. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to unfold, but let's keep going. I mean, this has got to end really well. Let me just check the comments real quick. Yeah, this dude's like, this is definitely not going to end horribly. I would love to see a follow-up story 1 to 3 years from now. Yeah, this is like, I've seen this movie before. This is a train wreck unfolding in slow motion. This is the title of this video should be How to Make a Train Wreck Out of 4 People's Lives.
Talk about what our core spend expenses are, what the bills look like, what the mortgage looks like.
This dude looks so much like a typical like alpha, like the tattoos, the furrowed brow. I mean, it's a good looking dude. Like you would expect that he'd be able to be in a situation where 2 losers aren't banging his girl. How does that happen?
The thing about this dude, Yair, Mr. Tattoo here, is he's got what's called hunter eyes. And hunter eyes are, you guys can Google this, but they're conventionally desired. I'm not sure if it's the balance or the distance, between the eyes, but it's the depth in the brow. And that's what determines that sort of look. And that's generally strongly desired by women. It's something that they look for. That's what Evil Psych has concluded anyway.
And again, that makes it very odd that a man who looks like this is in this situation. We know how much appearance and attractiveness has to do with all of this shit going awry. Why aren't you banging hot 20-year-olds, bro? What are you doing? What are you doing?
An eye month to month on what our numbers look like.
Goals a little bit.
Goals. We talk about longer term. We want to do this next year. What's that?
She has to correct him. Oh my god, little things like that. That's the type of shit that you need to pay attention.
Like.
Listen to how he's talking. This is a professional production that's going out on CNBC, and the man is talking.
It's something that they look for. That's what Evil Psych has concluded anyway.
Keep an eye month to month on what our numbers like.
Goals a little bit.
Goals. We talk about longer.
And she has to correct him.
Term. We want to do this next year. What's that going to look like?
Why don't you hold this?
So, Mr. Tattoo Arms here, the chef, now hands over his money to, I'm guessing, Rachel. Yeah.
I know.
So she takes his money. Oh my god.
Write the check for her too, so she can have a cash check.
Great. Okay.
And if you want to give me the check, I also have a credit card.
Do y'all not have Venmo? What are you doing? This is clearly for the cameras.
That works.
We really try to let everybody.
This dude over here said nothing. He's just sitting here smiling like a Muppet. Boop, boop.
Live organically and do what they want, and then we come back and take a look and go, okay, so last month I think we probably overdid it on the restaurants. Why don't we this month, trim that back and save up for a birthday coming up in next week or whatever.
And as for the larger expenses,
how about fuck off and I'll spend my money where the fuck I want and get on the program or get the fuck out. Sounds good to me.
and Ashley own the house they all live in, but the mortgage payment is split among.
Right. So Yair and Ashley own the house that they all live in, but the mortgage payment is split amongst all of them. That's not possibly going to end badly in any way, shape, or form, right? I mean, I don't know what state law is like in New York, but I know for a fact that
squatters' rights. I was just thinking
in most places in the developed world, if you're making installment payments on somebody else's mortgage and you live in their house, then you have rights to that asset if it doesn't work out. Now, do they have a cohabitation agreement or a prenup? I don't know. Let's find out.
All four. One of the things that I was very adamant about was that my student loan debt did not come and impact them. So that was something will be manageable and will remain just in my name.
Well, that's very noble of you, Rachel. Good for you, except for you're taking all of their money.
That's not nearly the only difference. Navigating finances with 4 partners. Credit card companies do not make it easy for 4 primary account holders, which doesn't make a gigantic difference.
No shit.
So
that's not shady.
Complaining that credit card companies don't make it easy for the 4 of them to run one credit card. There's a reason for that. Okay, I come from the credit card business.
How do I know? How do I know everything? Do you know how hard it is to be this goddamn smart? Not that hard.
Want you on the hook for the credit that's issued. Now, legal agreements are generally written for an individual or for a couple. They don't have contingency in credit facilities or instruments for 4 people, 10 people, or anything like that. Like even in my business, like I have a primary card and I have a secondary card that I use with my brother. There's always a primary card holder and secondary. They don't have a contingency for primary, secondary, tertiary, and keep going from there. Like, who knows if they want to introduce another couple or another chick or another dude in this situation. It just seems bizarre. Like, why do you need 4 people in a household? You're banging each other and you're mixing your finances into a giant pot. 2 of them own the house legally, the other 2 don't, but they're paying into it, which would technically give them the rights to the property if it doesn't work out. This is just a massive recipe for a huge disaster. It's just stupid.
It isn't only one person who's getting full benefit of that line of credit and getting full benefit of that credit history. So if the 4 of us did want to be on a mortgage in X number of years, we wouldn't all be getting the same benefit from carrying those lines of credit.
It's part of when people talk about being discriminated against as
Patrick Bet David was just talking about how number one, he has a prenup with his wife, but they also operate in the sense where they have my money, your money, and our money. So if I want to go buy whatever that doesn't help the family or help the our situation, then I take that out of my money. Similarly, if you want to buy some Birkin bag or fucking whatever, you take that out of your money. When it comes time to pay the bills and get the car fixed or whatever, then it comes to that. Makes so much sense. But this is a way to live too, I suppose.
Here we go. Here comes the victim mindset. I was going to come.
Whether it's sexual orientation, within the LGBTQ community or in the non-monogamous community, that's part of what they're talking about, is that our entire system is set up for 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, our system is designed for monogamy, and there's really no space for other relationship designs.
Oh, the bartender had something to say. What did he say?
Monogamy, and there's really no space for other relationship designs.
That's why the 2 couples, Rachel, Kyle, and Ashley and Yadir, decided to get divorced from one another. So they'll have more rights and benefits as
They're getting divorced. They're getting divorced.
Family of 4. They're working with a lawyer to create a cohabitation agreement.
This is so much bullshit. And that shit ain't cheap. Why did you need to do this? Why did you need to... I don't understand why you can't just fuck each other. Why do you need to involve finances and living living situations? Coming up blank. I have no clue why you would do that.
So they took vows till death do us part, in sickness and health, blah, blah, blah. And then because Rachel sucks them all into this vortex of the fuckery and moves into their house, now they all are getting divorced so they can live as a foursome.
So Kyle and I remain married, and Ashley and Yadir remain married. If something were to happen to one of them, and one of us wanted to go see them in the hospital, we would have no legal right to do so.
In a scenario where, say, Rachel and I...
Now, keep in mind, they said at the get-go that they all met each other at the start of the pandemic, which was 2 years ago. So they've barely known each other for 2 years. They're already living together in this couple's house. They're all getting divorced, and they're now creating a new agreement to govern their finances and even things like who could see who if somebody got deathly ill. They haven't even talked about kids yet. Let's see if we get to that.
I have a child, and nobody's legally married. If Rachel and I have a child, the protections afforded to Ashley and Kyle as parents of that child are difficult to get to. If we start from this place and move into these domestic partnerships, it's much easier for the non-biological parents to act as legal guardians and legal parents for those children.
Beyond rights, they say this
See how quickly he flashes those comments? I fucking appreciate y'all comments. I bring them up. I'll stop the whole show. And still, silence.
Cohabitation agreement would legally define financial responsibility among all 4 partners.
It's really important for both me and Ashley to have a biological child if we can. If we can't, we have talked about carrying the person's...
You notice how this conversation is, you notice how they're sitting and what the focus is? It's like Rachel is the son, she's the sister son, and then the 2 dudes are accessories. It's really important to me and Ashley to have kids. But what about the other guys? Is it not important to them to have kids? Or are they just accessories to go to work and make money to pay for this whole fuckery thing that you guys are creating right now that's going to definitely implode on itself?
Egg that is viable, and all of us will be financially responsible for the...
why wouldn't you be able to have kids if you're young and healthy? You know, you're talking about eggs and IVF and all this sort of stuff. This just reeks, man.
Children, and there will be language that explains what happens if something were to go wrong and one person leaves.
And no matter how biological children are constrained between the four of us, pretty sure they're going to have red hair. It's in all our families.
Never mind who the father is.
Exactly.
It's they're probably going to have red hair because it's in all of our families. So it doesn't matter if we just blend all of our genes like this because we have nothing going for ourselves.
These rights outweigh any financial
This
advantages.
is where we
to
are.
marry.
This is
Tax benefits
pathetic.
for one.
This
Frankly,
is
the goal is
pathetic. This is why we need people like Andrew Tate. Whether you agree with him, whether you love him, whether you hate him, this is why we can't just have motherfuckers like this running around the world and doing this to themselves. That is not okay. You're allowed to. I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to, but you sure as shit shouldn't think it's a good idea. If you do, you fucked up somewhere. You fucked up somewhere. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. So I'm not gonna say much. There's whoever's out there, I appreciate you hanging out, but it's a little frustrating that that you are the only one here. So apologies for my frustration, but I'm a little frustrated and don't really have much else to say. But I do appreciate all of you who did come to hang out, regardless of how long, especially if you were in the chat, and especially my boy Trey, always coming through and help me out with the panel. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out. I'm going to cut it short. Doesn't seem like anybody here is having much fun. And that's when the party is over. Except the party is never over with the Indian Jesus. We got the Discord. Go into the description. There is a link. You can join that for free very soon. That link is going to be dead. I'm going to have a new Discord link, and you are going to have to pay in my Patreon or locals. I haven't decided which one you're going to have to pay to get into the Discord server. So join while it is free because I want to build a community with you. It's not going to work without you. If you're already there, then I will see you there. Until next time, guys, I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, I am out of here. Peace.